Divine Sword of the Douluo Spiritual Pearl. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 151, The 40,000-year-old Golden Elephant Skull. Is this the current Imperial fighting team? Except for the Gukin Soul Master, none of the others have more than a second soul skill. The strongest ones, Yu Xianheng and Jun Tianlin, don't even have a first soul skill. It's easy to win if you reveal yourself. That's good. Emperor Zuyi nodded with satisfaction, looking back at Meng Shenji and others. 3 education committee members, thank you for training such outstanding children and bringing glory to our empire. Meng Shenji quickly thanked them. Your Majesty is so complimentary, I don't dare to take credit. When I'm at the academy on weekdays, Kinming, the academy's Xiandao level teacher, is training them. I'm just providing some resources for the children. Oh, Kinming? He can cultivate such outstanding children, so his strength should not be weak. Emperor Zuai was aroused after hearing this. That's natural. Xiaoken is only 34 years old this year, but his soul power has already reached level 68. In another year or so, he will definitely be promoted to Soul Saint. Among the current records in the mainland, except for the Pope of Wuhan Palace, My Majesty, apart from the contemporary Haoshan Crown Prince of the Haoshan Sect, I'm afraid that no one can surpass him. Wei Chen asserts that Xiaoken will definitely be able to attack the realm of title Douluo in 20 years as early as 30 years as late as possible. Meng Shenji is paving the way for Kinming's future. Just like Xianlin hopes to win Kinming into the Qibao Glazed Sect, Meng Shenji, who is loyal to the royal family, also hopes that Kinming can officially join the Xiandao Empire. Then in the future, their Xiandao Empire can truly have a title Douluo of their own, instead of relying on the 7 treasures Glazed Sect to support the situation. Well, after the competition, let Mr. Qin come to see me. I will personally reward him for his hard work for our Xiandao Royal Academy. Emperor Zuai ordered. Although he is not a famous emperor through the ages, this point Corporal Li Zian still has a certain demeanor, and besides, a future title Douluo is worthy of his win over HMPH. Hu Yansen stood up angrily when he heard Emperor Zuyi and Meng Shenji praising Huang Dao and the others in Kinming, and left without even saying hello. In front of Emperor Zuyi, this was considered a quite rude move. However, although not everyone knew about the next 4 sects taking refuge in Wuhan Palace, these big shots knew more or less today's Wuhan Palace and Xiandao Empire, although there is no falling out on the surface, are incompatible with each other privately. With Hu Yansen's backing from Wuhan Palace, Emperor Zuyi is not only unhappy and angry, but also unhappy and angry. Nothing can be done. The relationship between the lower 4 sects and Wuhan Palace and the 2 empires is getting worse and worse. Ning Fengzi closed his eyes and pondered. The calmer the mainland is now, the more violent the outbreak will be. When the time comes, Qibao, where should the Glazed Sect go? It seems that after this competition, we will find time to discuss it with Xiaoshan. As the sect leader, Ning Fengzi always thinks about the development of the sect. Even if he chose to support the Xiandao Empire, he only hoped to use the power of the country to develop the sect. But unknowingly, when he had a major decision, the first thing he thought of was from Chenzin Gurang to Xianlin. It wasn't that he trusted Xianlin more than the 2 sect protector Douluo, but Chenzin and the others were fighting. Yes, but when it comes to intrigues and clever tricks, they are really not as good as Xianlin. After winning the first battle, the Royal Dao team celebrated as they walked out of the venue and met the defeated Elephant Academy. Hu Yanli glanced at Xianlin with dissatisfaction. Although he didn't say a word, Xianlin saw hatred in his eyes. This guy completely inherited his grandfather Hu Yansen's hostility towards the 3 sects. Everyone in the Xiangjia sect was the same. Han, who was full of joy and anger, just now hated Emperor Zuai over there, and his hatred for Xianlin was also undisguised. Is this because you are afraid that the other party will not feel your hostility? Xiaoshan, this Hu Yanli seems to be very unhappy with you. I can feel that his emotions are full of dissatisfaction and anger. Qian Mengbinken said through the voice, brother, Cheyenne Meng, although I don't have the same perception of others as you do, this stupid guy's thoughts are written on his expression, and anyone can see it. However, the elephant armor sect will be my enemy sooner or later, and I will also I don't care. Tianlin said nonchalantly, Hu Yanla soulbone looks very high end. Brother Cheyenne Meng, you are well informed. Can you tell what kind of soul beast it is, and how old it is? Hey, you've asked the right person. I think back then, I escaped from the far north to the sea, and then from the sea to the land. I traveled around the whole world. I haven't seen any soul beasts. Cheyenne Meng Bingshan said proudly, being able to talk about escaping as fresh and refined as traveling is really worthy of brother Cheyenne Meng's thick skin. Brother, looking at the shape of Hu Yanla's skull, it should also come from an elephant-like soul beast. If I guessed correctly, it must be an Imperial golden elephant. It is one of the best among all elephant-like soul beasts. It has amazing power and invincible defense. The attribute is gold, but not only is it not afraid of fire, but it can also restrain fire. More importantly, the age of Hu Yanla's soul bone should be at least about 40,000 years. Among the soul bones less than 100,000 years old, it is called the best. The 40,000-year-old Emperor's golden elephant skull. What a good thing. Should I leave it to Guran or give it to Hanjin? In fact, the two brothers Xi are also very good to me, so it doesn't hurt to give it to them. Tianlin walked away, while thinking about it. It was obvious that he was interested in this soul bone. He was determined to get it later. The best time was during the soul hunting operation. Hu Yanli suddenly felt a cold wind blowing on his neck, and felt a palpitation in his heart. Could it be that, because of the exposure of his soul bones today, he was being targeted by someone? No, he had to go back to Hu Yansen's side quickly, otherwise he would not feel safe at all. No point, the soul fighting is still going on. After the Huang Dao game, a few more games were played. Kamikaze, Blazing Fire, Thunder, etc. are worthy of the old and strong teams, and they basically passed easily. Next, it was finally Shrek's turn to appear. The master could not retain as much strength as in the original work this time, because their team only had 3 soul sects. If he could not guarantee qualification, what was the use of having more races? Therefore, this time, in addition to Ningrangrong, who is the killer, there are 6 Shrek 7 monsters, and the healing Jiangsu who replaces Ningrangrong. The configuration of 2 soul sects and 5 high-level soul sects can only be said to be not bad among all colleges. After all, the 5-element academy basically has at least 3 soul sects at the base. What is surprising is their age. It is they are young, around 13 or 14 years old. The eldest Damube is only about 17 years old, yet he has such a high level at such an age point. If these guys were the same age as them, no one, including the 5-element academy, could be sure to beat them. Tianlin sat on the stand. Although it was a pity that he couldn't see his Rangrang perform, it didn't matter. He could first observe Mahanjan and Oscar's recent progress. Chapter 152 Shrek vs. Purple Star Fire Phoenix's explosive power. Shrek Academy's opponent in this game is called Purple Star Academy. Like Elephant Jaya, it also has 3 soul sects. However, their 3 soul sects are not as high as Elephant Jaya. They are all from level 40 to 41. Level or so. Shrek's side also activated their martial spirits, but this time Tangsen didn't attract anyone's attention. After all, it was just a small blue silver grass with a level of only 39, so it couldn't attract everyone's attention. Almost everyone looked at Mahanjan. This is Fire Phoenix, the top martial spirit second only to the god level martial spirit, and it has also broken through the soul sect. Little Shrek actually has such an existence. Meng Shenji, Bebe Ocean and others were shocked. Different from the original work, because Shrek has never been to Xiandao Royal Academy, they don't know the Shrek 7 monsters yet. Emperor Zuai also looked at Mahanjan intently. The swan martial spirit inherited from their royal family was also a flying beast martial spirit. It was considered good among ordinary martial arts, but compared to the Fire Phoenix, it was not even a bit worse. I wonder where this young man comes from. Salus said. It was obvious that he also had Mahanjan's idea. At this time, Ning Fengzi on the side said, Your Majesty, Bishop Salus, Hangjun is a member of my Qibao Glazed Sect, and so is the Food Department Soul Master. In addition, my daughter is currently studying at Shrek, but this time the game didn't happen. Oh, is this Shrek secretly supported by your sect? Emperor Zhu, I said with a smile. Although Mahanjan already belongs to the Qibao Glazed Sect, and it is a pity that he cannot win over him, it is better than such a genius belonging to the Spirit Hall. Salus's expression on the other side was much uglier. Ning Fengzi said that his daughter was also in Shrek, obviously telling him not to take advantage of Mahanjan and Oscar. Facing Emperor Zhu Yi's question, Ning Fengzi chuckled and replied, "That's not true. Shrek has nothing to do with my Qibao Glazed Sect. It's just that my daughter is willful. She had a disagreement with Xiaoshan before and ran away from home. I randomly joined a college, and there happened to be a few geniuses in this college, so my little girl invited them to join the sect." Ning Fengzi said it easily, but the people here were indescribably envious. No matter how lucky Ning Rangrang was, he could find such a genius, even after running away from home. Not to mention Mahanjan, Oscar was also an extremely talented person, with a food system. The difficulty of cultivation can reach level 39 at his age. His talent is so high that it can be said that he is not inferior to the golden generation of Wuhan Palace. Emperor Zhu Yi looked back at his younger brother, Prince Zhu, crossing, with a hint of meaning in his eyes. He then arranged for Princess Zuke to run away from home, and she would not go home without finding 3 titled Douluo talents. Could it be that the daughter of a dignified royal family had worse luck than Ning Rangrang? Prince Zuxing nodded and expressed his meaning. Understood, brother. Make arrangements immediately. The competition on the soul fighting stage began, and Amubei shouted, "Everyone, prepare for the one-hit strategy." Shrek is at least much smarter than Weevil. He has discussed various tactics in advance and named them, and just give them names during the battle. After all, who knows how to do a one-hit style? It's nothing like Elephant. Who to attack, and how to attack, are all told in front of the opponent on the field. His IQ is simply sad to see. The second soul skill, the healing circle. Jiangsu hit the ground hard with his scepter, forming a healing circle that spread throughout the audience. Shrek is really arrogant. He actually healed his opponent. With Gurang's eyesight, he could naturally see that the target of Jiangsu's soul skill was actually Purple Star Academy. Point is this, because they are afraid that the opponent will be too injured and they will be disqualified from the competition. It seems that they are very confident in their so-called one-hit flow tactics. The third soul skill, I have a mushroom intestine. Oscar made 2 mushroom intestines and gave them to Damubei and Tangsun respectively. The purpose of these intestines was not for flying, but for acceleration. ZHU Zuking and Xiao Wu, one is fast and the other can teleport, so they don't need it. So fast. Looking at the 4 Shrek people rushing towards them, Purple Star Academy didn't even have enough time to react. He was surrounded by 4 people. The second soul skill, Charm. The third soul skill, Myther World / the fourth soul skill, White Tiger Meteor Shower. Day, Mubei, ZHU Zuking, and Xiao Wu all attacked at the same time. Damubei's large-scale attack spirit skill covered 5 people in one breath, while ZHU Zuking and Xiao Wu also fought back 1 person and charmed 1 person respectively. In order to avoid the White Tiger Meteor Shower, the 5 people from Purple Star withdrew towards the rear. At this time, the remaining 2 people, one was knocked away by ZHU Zuking, and the other was charmed by Xiao Wu, and obeyed her words and walked over. Blue, silver grass, wrap around. While the 7 people were gathered together, Tang San's blue silver grass turned into a big circle, and tied them all up in one breath. I see. The purpose of this wave of attacks is to force them to move, and there is no need to actually hit the opponent. Tianlin saw the clue, because the current Tangsun did not have the original group limiting skill of blue silver cage, so he wanted to. If he controlled all the opponents with his tone, he could only make them gather together, and then he would tie them all up with blue silver grass. The so-called one-hit style does not mean attacking only once, but winning in one blow, and that blow must come from Mahanjan, who has the most explosive power. The second soul skill is Phoenix in Fire, and the third soul skill is Phoenix Wings, and Soaring in the Sky. Sure enough, Mahanjan started to accumulate power. Both of his moves were enhanced soul skills. While the Fire Phoenix defended in all directions, it increased the power of the fire by 30%. While Phoenix Wings Xiangxiang increases its flying ability, the firepower of the next attack will be increased by 100%, and the attack range will be increased by 50%. The fourth soul skill, Phoenix Roaring Sky Strike. The last is a powerful attack soul skill, Phoenix Roaring Sky Strike. This move is extremely powerful, but it cannot lock the opponent, so it needs the assistance of someone who is good at control point. Since Tang San's blue silver grass lost its immortal grass and fourth spirit ring, not only did it lose its immunity to water and fire, but its toughness was also much inferior to the original. In less than 2 seconds, it was broken by the 7 purple stars. A bundle of 7 is still too much. Tang San frowned, but 2 seconds is enough. Within these 2 seconds, Mahanjan's Phoenix Roaring Sky Strike came from behind. First, it stunned the opponent. Then, a burst of magma rose from the ground. With the increase of Phoenix wings, the range covered everyone. In just an instant, all 7 people were blown away by this powerful blow, and fell to the ground point. If Jiangsu hadn't always turned on the treatment for them, I'm afraid the opponent would have been disabled, even if they didn't die. Now, they can fully recover after a few months of rest. 7 kills with 1 move. This is the so-called one-hit tactic. After eating the coxcomb and phoenix sunflower, Mahanjan's explosive power was shocking. Kinming's eyes shone even brighter. It's such a pity. This child is already the dean's disciple. Otherwise, I might have to fight for it. His cultivation route is exactly the same as mine, and he has the fire attribute. It's really close to me. Chapter 153 Tianlin's attitude towards Wuhan Palace. Then Teacher Qin, why not come to our Qibao Glazed Sect? Hangjin will come to the sect to practice after graduation. Then you can train him as you like, even to death. In order to attract people, Tianlin did not hesitate to sold Mahanjan. Anyway, what Mahanjan lacks the most is the determination to risk everything to become stronger. He might as well find a strict teacher to supervise him. Kinming smiled and said, you can consider it. Where Blazing Fire Academy was. Huo Wu looked at his brother Huo Washang and said, brother, this Mahanjan's explosive power seems to be stronger than your one-horned fire Tyrannosaurus. It would be great if he was from our academy. Then the dragon and the phoenix will be equal. If you go out, you will definitely be invincible. Huo Washang did not deny it. He also knew that his one-horned fire Tyrannosaurus was far inferior to the opponent's fire phoenix. Qianshu Academy. Captain Shubinger also looked in the direction of Shrek and muttered, fire phoenix, why can he use it so perfectly? Shubinger possesses an ice phoenix martial spirit that is comparable to Mahanjan, but like Mahanjan, she has flaws in her martial spirit. The difference is that this flaw has no impact on Shubinger herself, but because the martial spirit is too strong. Therefore, once the power is fully activated, Shubinger herself cannot control it, and it is easy to cause irreparable harm to others. She is a kind girl, so every time she fights the spirit, she will deliberately suppress her strength below the 7th level. Her biggest wish is to find a way to perfectly control the phoenix spirit. Ning Fengzi in the audience smiled slightly. Today's 2 games between Huang Dao and Shrek undoubtedly showed the future of their 7 treasures glazed sect. Whether it is Tianlin who has reached the realm of sulking at a young age, the explosive phoenix soul master Mahanjan, or the rare food genius Oscar who is rare in a century, all prove that the sect has a profound foundation. His daughter Ningrangrang and Bone Douluo disciple Guran haven't even appeared yet. Marshal Soul Hall, you are stronger than our 7 treasures glazed sect, but your golden generation may not be able to dominate the younger generation. Not to mention Ziocean, the others will soon catch up. Ning Fengzi thinking confidently. The day's competition was all over, and everyone went back to their own places. Tianlin did not go to find Rangrang and the others. Theoretically, they were opponents now, and they should avoid suspicion at this time. Tianlin even hoped that, even if Rangrang was behind, you can also use your full strength against him. Back at Xiandao Royal Academy, Tianlin opened the door and saw Zuking sitting calmly at his desk drinking tea. This guy no longer regards himself as an outsider. Coming to him is as comfortable as going home. Ziocean, you are back. Congratulations on your victory, brother. Zhu You didn't even come to see my game, but you knew I won. Tianlin said with a smile. I also want to come and cheer for you, but my father has already gone to watch the game. The government affairs cannot be handled by no one, so I, the prince, can only come. Zuking said helplessly. However, although I did not go to watch the game, before you meet the golden generation of Wuhan Palace, I don't think anyone else can stop you. I heard that your opponent today is Elephant Academy. Obviously, they are here for you. Hu Yanli was just released to collect information. Yes, it must be the Wuhan Palace. It seems that they are quite afraid of me. Do you think I should feel honored? Tianlin moved a chair and sat next to Zuking, crossing his legs and leaning on his arms. The person on the table looked at her with a smile and said point. Since absorbing the million-year-old spiritual skull, the camouflage that used to have to be opened to see through the attached soul bones, now as long as Tianlin wants to see it, Qin Ringsu can be seen clearly in front of Tianlin, and outsiders can only see Zuking, but he could see Qin Ringsu. You are becoming more and more careless. Sit tight. If Sword Douluo sees you like this and thinks I taught you bad things, what should you do? If you want to settle a score with me? Qin Ringsu was like a sister. Straighten Tianlin. What? Does it matter? We are the only ones here. Master will not know. Besides, it would be too tiring to pretend to be the same as usual in front of my best brother Zhu. Tianlin stretched and said easily point Shenzin, Ning Fengxi and others are relatively serious, so Tianlin has always behaved calmly in front of them, and to outsiders, Tianlin will not show his true self. In this world, Tianlin can be seen apart from their parents. There are probably only two people like this, Ning Rangrang and Qin Ringsu. Oh, forget it, let it go. I really can't do anything to you. Qin Ringsu sighed and continued. Zhaoshan, in the next few days, you should encounter other powerful opponents. I'm afraid every game competitions will allow you to show more strength, so you must be careful. Don't worry, I have already expected this. Moreover, the purpose of my friends and me in participating in this conference is to compete with various powerful people. It is more like what I want. Tianlin geared up and was very happy. It's confidence point seeing his appearance. Qin Ringsu was completely relieved, but she immediately thought of something. Zhaoshan, Wuhan Palace has been targeting you like this. Do you hate them very much? Now many people in the outside world are also interested in Wuhan Palace. I'm dissatisfied with my overbearing attitude. She couldn't help but ask this question. She was afraid that one day, after her true identity was exposed, Tianlin would hate her just as much. Point looking at Qin Ringsu's melancholy eyes under his true appearance, Tianlin shook his head honestly. Actually, I don't hate Wuhan Palace at all. In fact, I have never regarded Wuhan Palace as an evil force. The Wuhan Palace awakens Wuhan for civilians for free. This alone is of great kindness to the common people in mainland China. But now the reputation is getting worse and worse. There are two very important reasons. One is because the two empires have taken action. The spirit masters of Wuhan Palace are indeed powerful, but their base of people is far less than those of the two empires. In terms of public opinion, they are no match for the two empires. The second is the contemporary pope. Although she is known as the best pope in history, she is only in terms of strength and leadership, which is not good at all. That is why many masters of Wuhan branch temples and even temples care about human life. Shameless people, such as Salus, the master of the Wuhan main hall and Jengxin city, etc. Although there is light in this world, there will be darkness, let alone a huge thing like Wuhan Palace. Under the hugeness, there must be shadows. However, the place where the light shines must be larger than the area covered by the shadow. Brother Zhu, I feel that what Wuhan Palace needs now is a truly broad-minded and wise pope. Only in this way can we better lead the development of the mainland. Tianlin's words were meant for Qin Ringsu to hear. Some things must be taken back when they should be taken back. The madman Bibidang is not worthy of the position of Pope. Qin Zunji was sorry for her, but she was also sorry for Qin Zunji and Wuhan Hall when she ignored the years of training from Wuhan Palace for the sake of Yu Gang. Besides, she had already killed Qin Zunji with her own hands, so she deserved to avenge him with all the hatred. At the end of the original work, she said that her purpose was to destroy the Spirit Hall, the Douluo Continent, and herself. However, she was only raped by Qiang Sunji, and she was not raped by everyone in the continent. Qiang Sunji was dead, so why would she vent her anger on others? Tianlin didn't know whether what she said before she died about destroying the mainland was sincere or just a moment of anger, but Tianlin didn't dare to bet and couldn't afford the bet. After all, if he lost the bet, it would be a disaster for the mainland. Even though Bibidang may not have had this idea originally, it may not be the case after being influenced by the Rakshasa god. Therefore, instead of betting on whether Bibidang is a lunatic, it is safer to directly choose Qian Ringsu, who has a better mind point. If one day Qian Ringsu comes to unify the continent, treat the people well, and guarantee not to damage the Qibao glazed sect brick by brick, Tianlin will definitely help us. Promised point. Of course, that is not realistic, because to the common people, the Qibao glazed sect is equivalent to the nobles. Wuhan Palace unifies the continent, and cannot leave such an exception. This is also Tianlin's unavoidable selfishness. The happiness of the continent can only be second to the happiness of his own family. The most he can do is to restrain the disciples of the sect, not to bully others, and not to prey on the common people. It is impossible to sacrifice for them. Therefore, the method Xian Mengbing considered the beginning was indeed the only way to coexist. He wanted to become the joint restraint of Wuhan Palace and Qibao glazed sect. But before that, Qian Ringsu must take back the position of Pope, and even if he takes it back, the two parties will still have to go through a period of hostility, because even if they cooperate, Tianlin must be the dominant party, so he will inevitably defeat future Wuhan Palace attacks time and time again, injuring them severely but not fatally, until one day, Qian Ringsu realized that, as long as she was an enemy of the Qibao glazed sect, she would never be able to unify the continent, and then took the initiative to request cooperate. If Qian Ringsu never realizes this, Tianlin will have no choice but to say that the time for mainland unification has not yet come, so he can only do his best to destroy Wuhan Palace. Tianlin's words made Qian Ringsu fall into deep thought. At this moment, this guy suddenly lied down on purpose and said, "Forget it, that has nothing to do with us. After all, I'm from the Qibao glazed sect, and you are from Xiandao. Imperial Crown Prince, why do you care about so many things in Wuhan Palace?" After saying that, he sat next to the bed and said, "Brother Zhu, come and practice the power of Xiangsu. Before the finals, every point you can get stronger is worth it." "Okay, you're right. This has nothing to do with us. The top priority is cultivation." Qian Ringsu agreed on the surface, but she was thinking in her heart, Xiaoshan is right. If this continues, the Wuhan Palace will be destroyed sooner or later. In the hands of that woman, the position of Pope belongs to my family of angels. One day, I will take it back. Chapter 154 Against the Divine Wind. Sulking Guran. Everyone, your opponent today is out. It's Kamikaze. In the Huangdao lounge, Qinming opened the door and walked in. His expression was not very good. They met the 5-element academy one after another, and their Huangdao's luck was also very bad. Moreover, Kamikaze is still the strongest among the 5-element academy this time. Should the secret operation be so obvious, the person who was more annoyed than Qinming at this time was Feng Xiaoshan. After all, Huangdao's battle with Kamikaze only requires more effort than fighting other academies. However, with Kamikaze vs Huangdao, the winning rate is infinitely close to 0. Fortunately, the top 5 in the qualifiers can enter the promotion round, and it doesn't matter if they lose one game. If this is a knockout format, Kamikaze can basically pack his bags. Kamikaze, then, in this match, I will be the next, and Guran will be the first. Tianlin suggested. What? Qinming heard this and asked doubtfully, Xiaoshan, the divine wind is much more powerful than the elephant armor. Why did you choose to retreat when facing them? This is not to back down. My soul power has already been demonstrated in the first game. No one will think that I'm afraid of the Kamikaze, so I don't play. Besides, Guran also needs experience. Since reaching the sulking, he has not yet. This won't work if you have actually fought against someone, Tianlin explained. I Know that Feng Xiaoshan is a person who possesses a benign mutated martial spirit, the Gale Winter-headed wolf, and has full innate soul power. If he hadn't spent too much time on the self-created soul skill Gale Wind Demon Wolf 36 continuous slashes, his soul power should not be much lower than Xianheng, and even now, his strength is enough to rival ordinary high-level soul sects. I hope that Guran can reach the level of facing one of the golden generation of Wuhan Palace alone in this conference. Feng Xiaoshan Pass is just a test for him. Qin Ming nodded. You are right. Everyone is a member of Huangdao and should be qualified to fight for the team. Besides, Guran has already reached the Soul King level. I have nothing to worry about if he replaces you. Then you can come on, Guran. Yes, boss, Teacher Qin. I won't let you down. Guran stood up excitedly. He couldn't play in the last game, but he was already depressed. The second round of the Continental Advanced Soul Master Academy competition has officially begun. All 28 teams gathered in the stadium today because they cannot ignore today's competition. One is the strongest kamikaze in the 5-element academy, and the other is enough to arm wrestle with Wuhandian Academy. The powerful battle between the two teams. This game will definitely attract everyone's attention. Everyone wants to see what kind of performance the young Soul King Tianlin will have when facing Kamikaze. But today they are destined to be disappointed. Tianlin has no intention of playing at all. He no longer cares about this competition. After all, if he is at full strength now, the Soul Saint may not be able to defeat him. He is a Soul King, and he can easily destroy their souls. Rather than wasting your own time, it is better to give more experience opportunities to Guran and the others. Looking at the 7 Huangdao people who came onto the stage, Feng Xiaoshan was not only not happy, but also extremely angry. What do you Huangdao mean? Do you look down on my divine wind? Where is Zheng Xianlin? Let him come up. Brother, is Zheng Xianlin going too far? He actually didn't play. In his eyes, Kamikaze is not as good as Elephant Armor. Huo Wu was also a little unhappy. In addition to the Elephant Armor Academy who had already decided to join Wuhan Palace, the other 4 schools of the 5-element academy have always been on the same side, and she also felt resentful for the gods. Huo Washan grabbed the railing hard. No, I think in Zheng Xianlin's eyes, whether it is Divine Wind or Elephant Armor, they are all the same. He didn't take it seriously at all. He appeared yesterday just to show off. Show off your own strength, so that you can intimidate major colleges. At Xianshu College, Shubinger also made the same judgment as Huo Washan. In other words, Xiangjia just happened to meet Xianlin when he was willing to play. It's unclear whether they were lucky or unlucky. Hearing the heated discussion in the audience, Guran didn't say a word. At this time, any rebuttal was useless. What he needed was to show his strength. Come on, Guran, let everyone see the strength of another protector Douluo from Qibao Glazed Sect. As a master, Guran naturally supports his disciples unconditionally at this time. It's so noisy. Guran, please shut up everyone. Tianlin also crossed his arms and said. Guran was possessed by a skeletal warhorse, and soul rings appeared in circles, 2 yellow, 2 purple and 1 black. There was no doubt that he was a Soul King level powerhouse. How is it possible? In addition to the Sword Lord, Huangdao actually has a Soul King. Salus was really shocked this time. Their Wuhan Palace was all focused on how to deal with Tianlin. Who would have thought that Guran, who was usually inconspicuous, would actually overtake him in a corner and even advance to the Soul King level. First Deputy Captain Yu Xianheng and Du Guyan and catch up with him. Their golden generation. Salus, why are you so excited? His old swordsman's disciple is the Soul King, so my disciple can't do it. Do you look down on me? Guran asked in a pretentious manner. I don't dare. Please don't get me wrong, Your Majesty. I was just too surprised for a moment. I'm glad that I have a disciple like this, Siraspi said with a smile. Although he is a platinum bishop, in the final analysis, he is just a platinum bishop. There is still a gap in status between a Soul Douluo and the title Douluo level Gurong. You underestimated Huangdao. Even if the Sword Lord doesn't come out, they are still not weak. They are ready to fight. Leave the Soul King to me. Finxio Xian Malang possessed him and restrained his anger just now. Facing the opponent's Lanoop, He where is the right to be angry, then, leave Yu Shai and Heng to me. Next to Feng Zai Ocean, a man holding a long sword whispered point this person is a vice captain of the Divine Wind Academy, but his soul power level is not inferior to Feng Zai Ocean. He has also reached level 44. However, when he competed for the captain's position, he lost to Gale Demon Wolf 36. He was killed continuously, so he was given the position of deputy captain. Isn't that sword the sword of wind? This person belongs to the Wind Sword Sect? Yu Shai and Heng speculated when he saw the sword wrapped in the breeze opposite point. The Wind Sword Sect is one of the 4 sects in the Douluo Continent, alongside the Holy Dragon Sect, the Elephant Armor Sect, and the Black Tiger Sect. Their martial spirit is the Sword of Wind, a long sword with a wind attribute. Although it is not top-notch, it is also superior martial spirit. The Shi brothers nodded. It should be right. I didn't expect to meet another person from the lower 4th sect. Yu Shai and Heng smiled slightly. Isn't that just right? In the last battle, all the heads of the Elephant Armor Sect were snatched away by you. I was holding back my anger. This time I will decide on the Fengjian Sect. Who will you are not allowed to snatch it from me either. Having said that, Yu Shai and Heng was possessed by the blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex, and the powerful power of thunder and lightning crackled throughout the entire venue. His fighting spirit could be felt outside the venue. It seemed that, because he didn't get a single head in the battle, he was hurt. Exciting. This is taken from the anime version. Not all of the next 4 sects in the original work are shown. Chapter 155 Fengjian Sect vs Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus Rex Family. Windsword Sect. Let me show you how powerful my Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus Rex is. As a descendant of the 3 upper sects, how could Yu Shai and Heng be afraid of a small disciple of the Windsword Sect, let alone his soul power? The opponent is 5 levels higher even without the use of soul skills. His attack was not something that ordinary soul sects could easily resist. However, this Windsword Sect disciple just swept his long sword across the sky and created a wall of wind, completely blocking Shai and Heng's attack. Come down. The soul ring did not shine, which meant that the wind wall was not the martial soul's soul skill, but a self-created soul skill. Is this the unique skill passed down from the Windsword Sect, the Windsword technique? Tianlin had heard rumors that it was supposed to be the guard move of the Windsword technique, which was somewhat similar to the Xiaoxiang Xuan in his Shushan sword technique. Each sect has its own special skills passed down from direct descendants, such as the Haoshan Ninju of the Haoshan Sect, the distraction control of the 7 treasure glazed tile sect, the dragon transformation of the blue lightning Tyrannosaurus family, etc. As one of the 7 major sects, the Windsword Sect naturally has some skills. The 4th soul skill, the Wrath of the Divine Wind. The 4th soul skill is powerful and powerful. At this time, the 2 soul sects at the back of the Divine Wind Academy simultaneously launched enhancements for the disciples of Feng Zai Ocean and Fengjian Sect in front. They were all auxiliary soul skills. Divine Wind's Wrath obviously improved the offensive and defensive power, while Lei Li Fengxing's its speed with the blessing of the 2 soul sects. The strength of Feng Zai Ocean and Feng Giant Sect was close to that of Guran and Yu Shai and Heng. Then the 3 soul masters formed a triangle formation and stood in front of the 2 auxiliary soul masters with a 2-3-2 formation. It seemed like they were pinning all their hopes on the 2 people in front. If you have the courage, then I will meet you, brothers, and form a 2-2-3 formation. Yu Shai and Heng ordered. Yes. Everyone in Huangdao respected the captain's order and performed their duties. The so-called 2-2-3 is slightly different from the opposite 2-3-2. It is actually Phantom Sound charging up and preparing to assist with soul skills. The Shi brothers protect her, while Oslo and Yu Feng attack from both sides, looking for opportunities to cut her off at any time. The opponent's back row assists. One side focuses on attack, the other focuses on defense. The 2 attack type soul masters charged forward to destroy each other's formation. In the big soul fighting field, Yu Shai and Heng had always cooperated with Tianlin like this, but this time he was replaced by Guran. Ran, rush with me, don't lose your boss's face. Yu Shai and Heng looked at Guran and encouraged. Don't worry, Captain. In the stands, Hu Yanli from Xiangjia Academy was confused. It turns out that other academies are like this. One-hit tactics and 2-2-3 formations are all discussed before the game. During the battle, only the name of the tactics is given. That's it. Nonsense. Apart from you, I have never seen anyone else who would directly report to others what he is going to do on the battlefield. Hu Yansen hated the fact that steel is not made of steel. Feng Moheng, the other side is coming. Be careful. Feng Xiaoshan reminded. HMPH. Take care of yourself. Your opponent is the Soul King. It turns out that this Fengjian sect disciple is called Feng Moheng, but he doesn't seem to have a good relationship with Feng Xiaoshan. I heard that Shen Feng Academy is divided into two factions. One is led by Fengjian sect and is close to Wuhan Palace. The other is following the dean of the academy, Feng Xiaoshan's master, and is close to Xiandao Empire. The two parties are incompatible with each other. Now it seems that it is not a rumor. Tianlin said secretly point on the field. Guran and Feng Xiaoshan, Yu Xianheng and Feng Moheng have already started fighting. Point Feng Xiaoshan didn't dare to be careless when facing the Soul King. He used his second soul skill, Double Wolf Possession, and his third soul skill, Wind Wings, at the beginning, which greatly strengthened himself, but his 36th Wind Demon Wolf Slashing requires accumulating energy, so in the first encounter, Guran still had the upper hand point. Although Feng Xiaoshan was retreating steadily, there was no trace of panic in his eyes. After the increase of the two soul masters and his own soul skills, his current strength was not weaker than Guran, the Soul King who had just reached level 50. It would be impossible to defeat him. Point on the other side, Yu Xianheng and Feng Moheng's sword claws were constantly intersecting. Unexpectedly, Xianheng was completely at a disadvantage. Feng Moheng's sword was so fast that it was invisible and hard to resist. Point this is the Wind chapter and the Wind swordsmanship. There are three parts to the Wind swordsmanship, namely the Clean Wind chapter which focuses on defense, the Swift Wind chapter which focuses on speed, and the Storm chapter which focuses on strength. Point this Feng Moheng has at least mastered the two parts of King Feng and Swift Wind very skillfully. Point not long after, Xianheng's clothes were not only scratched, but there were also many small wounds on his body. Point at this time, Feng Xiaoshan also started to launch a counter-attack. He had actually completed the attack much faster than usual. Point the offense and defense were reversed. Feng Xiaoshan's arms and wings merged into one, and he continuously slashed at Guran. His strength was getting bigger and bigger. Fortunately, Guran's defense was amazing, otherwise he might not have been able to hold on for long. That auxiliary soul skill was powerful and powerful. It seemed that it not only increased Feng Xiaoshan's movement speed, but also increased his soul power concentration speed. Huang Dao was thrown into a trap. The master at Shrek Academy side, Huang Dao, is actually at a disadvantage. Shen Feng Academy is indeed the strongest among the five element. It should not be underestimated. Many people in the audience were surprised. Point Salus even lowered his eyebrows and smiled. Although Kamikazes did not completely rely on their spirit hall like elephant armor, it still relied on them halfway. It naturally made him happy to suppress the Imperial battle team of the Xiandao Empire. The fourth soul skill, Sword Transformation and Splitting Light. After continuously injuring Yu Xianheng, Feng Moheng finally saw the right moment and used his strongest soul skill to charge up a blow. Point the wind swords turned into three and stabbed at Yu Xianheng at the same time. Xianheng quickly destroyed two of them with his dragon claws, but the third one stabbed straight into Yu Xianheng's chest. Point Feng Moheng smiled coldly, a descendant of the Blow Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family, nothing more than that. Really? At this moment, Yu Xianheng raised his head, and Feng Moheng discovered that his sword could not stab him no matter what. He saw that the end of the sword was tightly clamped by Yu Xianheng's two fingers. What kind of sword do you think I'm practicing with every day? Compared to the one in our team, your sword is too weak. I was just playing with you, and it seemed that you got carried away. Impossible. Feng Moheng looked at this scene in disbelief. His advantage just now was actually someone else's pretense. Point Yu Xianheng let go of the wind sword and said with a smile, if you don't believe it, try it again, and don't say I bullied you. This time, I will take your sword with my eyes closed. After saying that, Yu Xianheng really closed his eyes and stood there calmly. Point. Although Feng Moheng was angry because of his opponent's contempt, he didn't want to miss this great opportunity and stabbed straight with his sword. But this time, no matter which direction he attacked from, Xianheng was able to catch it steadily with his dragon Claws. The Gale Force swordsmanship struck 16 swords in different directions, but this time it didn't even pierce the skin of Yu Xianheng's hand, and it didn't even allow him to move even half a step. Yu Xianheng opened his eyes. I said that I have received a sword technique that is 100 times stronger than yours. How about it? Now you know that I'm not lying, right? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 156. Complete victory over Kamikaze. Why, if you have such ability, why didn't you show it from the beginning? Feng Moheng asked Yu Xianheng. Wasn't this a trick on him? Yu Xianheng said calmly. Isn't it because your martial spirit is a sword? I dream every day about how to surpass that little kid in our team, so when I meet someone with a sword martial spirit, I can't help but want to observe their sword skills, thinking that when I can defeat all sword skills one day, it will be the time when I challenge Tianlin again. But now it seems that your level is not up to paragraph. To the extent that I have experienced it, so I'm no longer interested, so it's almost time to end it. Take the move, transform into a dragon. Xian Heng roared angrily, and his hands truly turned into dragon claws. They were just possessed by martial spirits, and they couldn't be compared with real dragon transformation. Not only his hands, because Xianheng had already broken through level 40, now there is an additional part of dragon transformation, legs, dragon. Transformation technique, divine dragon heavenly dance. Xianheng spun and rushed towards Feng Moheng. Feng Moheng once again used the King Feng shield to resist, but this time, Xianheng easily broke through the face and created a gap. Finally, he was kicked to the ground point. Although this side had a big advantage, because of Yu Xianheng's kick, Guran's place looked very bad. At this time, the 36 consecutive slashes of the Gale Wind Demon Wolf had almost reached 32 slashes. 4 more slashes, the power of this move will completely explode, and at this time, Guran seems to have only the power to parry. 33, 34, 35. Feng's eye ocean counted while slashing, as if counting down the time for Guran's defeat. Finally, the last slash came. You're done. 36 cut. Bang Feng. Zai Ocean's last blow was no less powerful than the 5th soul skill of an ordinary Soul King. Guran was knocked to the ground by this powerful blow. Feng's Eye Ocean jumped back to his camp, breathing heavily. 36 consecutive slashes consumed a lot of my physical strength, but in the end, I defeated the Soul King on the opposite side first. The Wind Demon Wolf's 36 consecutive slashes are really powerful. No wonder the boss asked me not to interrupt you. Try them all next. You almost forced the body of the Tyrannosaurus out. At this time, Guran said he stood up slowly, except for the clothes on his upper body that turned into strips of cloth. He actually had no scars at all, only showing his strong muscles. How is it possible that he actually managed to take all the 36 consecutive slashes from my Gale Demon Wolf just by possessing the martial soul? Feng's Eye Ocean said in disbelief, and judging from Guran's tone, this was still Guran. I took it on purpose, just to hone my defensive abilities under his attack. Haha, with this amazing defensive power, Guran now is just like Uncle Gu when he was young. Ning Fengzi suppressed his smile. This competition was simply a performance stage for the younger generation of their sect. 36 consecutive slashes. You don't seem to have much energy left, so I'm going to fight back. Guran smiled ferociously at Feng's Eye Ocean. The captain and deputy captains of Kamikaze Academy were all suppressed, and the outcome of this game was actually decided. In addition to the 4 people on the frontal battlefield, the results seemed to be determined in other places. The 5 people behind Kamikaze had been being harassed by 2 agility type soul masters, so their attention was only on Oslo and Yufeng. And they completely failed to notice the illusion that was constantly accumulating power behind them. Sound. The first soul skill, Paluling. First, a piece of music sounded. This song is also an auxiliary soul skill, which increases the attack power of the auxiliary target by 20% and the attack range by 30%. At this moment, the latter point is the key point. The Shi brothers started to move at the same time. The fourth soul skill, Zuanwu replacement. The Shi brothers have the same replacement soul skills as Zhu Sanshi later. Normally, only one person can replace them at a time, but now the two of them use them at the same time. The range of the soul skills has increased due to mutual support, plus the phantom sound's destruction. Order, and further expanded point this time. All 5 people on the opposite side were replaced in front of phantom sound. This wave caught them off guard. Senior sister Huan had been accumulating strength for so long, so naturally it was not for a simple first soul skill, but for her strongest fourth soul skill. Phantom sound has always been not an auxiliary type, but a control type. Among her 4 soul skills, to assist teammates, one restricts the opponent, and the last one is a super sound wave skill. He can assist, control, and attack. Only those who can perfectly control the entire field are worthy of the title of control system. The 4th soul skill, Mingjian in the Empty Mountain, Phantom sound quickly strummed the strings. This time it was a high-pitched and exciting song. The terrifying sound-killing method shook the spirits of the 5 kamikazes, and they all covered their ears and started wailing. Phantom sound's move also becomes more powerful the longer it is charged. The destructive power at this time is almost as good as Feng Ziocean's 36 consecutive slashes just now. Zeng. Huan Yin plucked the strings for the last time, and the 5 kamikaze spirit masters all fainted. Following Ma Hanjin's 7 kills with one move, Huan Yin's 5 kills with one song was no less impressive. No one expected that the woman with the lowest level in Huangdao, who was just level 40, would actually have such attack power. However, most people can also see that, although this woman's soul skills are very strong, without the cooperation of good teammates, they are completely useless. After all, who will give her so much time to accumulate power over at Xianshu Academy? Shubinga looked at her teammate Zuwu. Zuwu, that phantom sound soul skill is very similar to yours. It requires energy accumulation to be effective. Zuwu nodded. Yes, she is really strong after charging up, and I have no attack means. I'm not as good as her in this regard, but in terms of pure support, I'm several times better than her. You are really confident. It's reassuring to have a teammate like you. Shubinga smiled, but then again, one of you is a piano player and the other is a dancer. It's a pity that you are not in the same team. Otherwise, we can really make a debut as a group in the soul fighting platform, because all 5 teammates fell down. Even the usually calm kamikaze captain and deputy captain were a little panicked at this time. Hey, your teammates are all down. You can almost retire. The first soul skill, Thunder Dragon Claw. The 3rd soul skill, Breath of Death. Before Qibao, Xianfeng, and Mo Heng could recover from the surprise of their teammates' defeat, Xianheng Yuran's attack had arrived. Without the blessing of the 2 auxiliary soul sects, Qibao, Xianfeng Moheng's strength and speed were greatly weakened at this time, and they could not be compared with Xianheng Yuran. In addition, they had just spent so much physical energy. At this moment, there really is no way to resist at all. In less than 10 seconds, the referee announced, this match will be won by the Xiandao Royal Academy's Imperial fighting team. Chapter 157 finally faced Shrek. 12 days had passed since the qualifiers for the Continental Advanced Soul Master Academy competition were in full swing, and the several academies currently in the leading group were far behind those behind them. A school like Auckland has lost all 12 games and has completely lost hope of promotion. The Royal Dao team has 12 wins in 12 games and is undoubtedly the first. Next, Shrek, Kamikaze, Xianshu, Thunder, and Chihuo all have similar wins, and they belong to the 2nd tier leading group. Shrek's strength is still not weak. Even if it is not as devastating as the original work, it is still not inferior to the 5 major colleges. He even defeated the elephant. However, in one game, they were defeated by Blazing Fire because he lost his fire immunity. Tang San's blue silver grass was too restrained. He didn't have the 8 spider spears, and he didn't dare to reveal the clear sky hammer. As a result, he was beaten by Huo Wu, who was also a control type. All the blue-silver grass burn point when Tangsun fell, and Ning Rangrang did not join the battle. The others seemed to have lost their backbone and completely disrupted their formation. First, Damu Bei was tightly entangled by Huo Washan, and Zhu Zuking tried to rush over and combine with him several times. Use the fusion skill Netherworld White Tiger, but how could Huo Wu let her succeed easily? She resisted the Ring of Fire with one move and completely separated her from Damu Bei. Then Huo Lai, the agility attack type Soul Sect, suddenly took action and easily knocked Zhu Zuking out of the field with his faster speed. Then Oscar, the auxiliary system, was also shot down by Fire Elemental Point not long after. Damu Bei was also defeated sadly. Although his strength was on par with Huo Washan, his soul power, who had just reached level 40, was still not as deep as Huo Washan, who was at level 43. At the end of the fight, Shrek was left with Mahanjan alone struggling to support him. Although his fire was far stronger than that of Blazing Academy, his two fists were hard to beat with four hands, and he still could not stop Huo Wu and Huo Washan. A joint attack between brother and sister. The tactics arranged by the master are useless in the face of absolute strength. Shrek could have won. As long as Ning Rangrang went into battle, her 7 treasure glazed tile tower could raise the team's strength to a high level. However, the master believed that only the top 5 in the qualifiers were enough to advance, and there was no need to worry about winning a game. It's better to preserve your strength. Tianlin was very dissatisfied with Tangsun's fighting performance. He was still counting on Tangsun to attract Shinan's attention and let Shinan deliver food point. But how could his level of strength attract the attention of the time? If he hadn't known that Shinan wouldn't dare to attack him, Tianlin would have wanted to be the bait himself. Just when he was distressed, suddenly, a new round of matches came out on the big screen. The qualifiers have entered the second half and now 2 games are shown at a time. The opponents of the Royal Dao team are Shrek today and Purple Star tomorrow. Don't worry about colleges like Zixing. The important thing is Shrek. Tianlin looked at Shrek's battle list. After fighting them today, tomorrow's opponent happens to be Kang Hui. Tianlin smiled slightly and said, there is a way. As for Shrek, Grandmaster was persuading them to admit defeat. This battle was impossible to win. Unless Grandmaster showed his last trump card, there would be a glimmer of hope. But Grandmaster wanted to save that trick until the finals. Ning Rangrang was speechless. This was the first time the master had persuaded them to admit defeat. When they met Elephant Armor and Blazing Fire before, he had also persuaded them to admit defeat. Although the top 5 could advance, they still had to be in the top 5. Okay. Moreover, the more important thing about the Soul Master competition is experience. If you encounter a strong enemy and give up, then what is the point of participating in this competition? Being able to play against a strong team like Huangdao, even if they lose, will be very beneficial to their growth. In the end, with everyone's insistence, Shrek decided to fight, but the master's final bottom line was to keep Ning Rangrang. This time, Ning Rangrang had no objection. Anyway, she didn't want to be hostile to her sword brother, and even if it would be completely pointless for her to get involved. If others don't know, how can she still not know the extent of Tianlin's restraint on the auxiliary soul master? The situation is simply a nightmare for all auxiliaries. Today's first round, Shrek Academy vs Xiandao Royal Academy. In the Great Soul Fighting Arena, the host loudly announced the list of entering players, and members of both sides strode into the arena with their heads held high. In an instant, there was a burst of enthusiastic cheers in the entire stands, because Tianlin, who had been absent from nearly 10 battles, actually took the field again today. Is this Shrek so powerful? The Sword Lord would actually step onto the soul fighting stage again for them. Feng Ziocean said unhappily. It was clear that their Kamikaze strength was obviously greater than Shrek's, but this did not give them the 5 element. The head of the academy lost face. Brother Tang, this is our first time fighting. Please give me some advice. Tianlin cupped his fists and smiled at Tangsun. Tangsun was stunned by Tianlin's gift. Didn't they have a falling out? This guy was actually so polite to him, but he didn't reach out to hit the smiling man. Tangsun replied, come on, Brother June. After both sides stood still and released their martial spirits, the game officially began under the referee's announcement. Zuanwu, Shield formation. As soon as the game started, the Shi brothers made a strange move. The two of them teamed up to release countless shields, protecting everyone in Huangdao Point. Everyone felt strange. Huangdao was too timid. He shrank before he even started fighting. No, they must be saving time to let the Guqin Spirit Master accumulate strength and break through at a fixed point. Tang San's expression changed, and he led the other 6 people to immediately launch an attack point. Shrek did not have any assistance in this battle. Meng Yiren took the place of Oscar, Telong took the place of Jiang Zhu, and all the players were attackers. The third soul skill, 8 consecutive attacks of the snake blade. Meng Yiren was the first to take action. Her third soul skill inherited the soul ring of the man-faced demon spider. Although she did not get the spider web stunt and 8 spider spears, the snake the staff still inherited some characteristics of the spider's legs and could stab 8 times in a row, which was 8 times more powerful than its first soul skill, the snake blade. Ding ding ding. With the point of breaking the surface, Meng Yiren stabbed in one place continuously. Finally, a small hole was pierced on the shield, and there were some cracks on the edge of the small hole. This woman's attack power is pretty good. She was able to slightly break through my brother and I's defense. Xiemo praised. Very good, senior sister Yi. Let's see what happens next. Mahanjan said happily. With a gap, everyone had a key point of attack. Tailong's Iron Fist, Xiao Wu's kicking skills, Damu Bei's Light Wave, Zhu's Yuking's Thrust and Mahanjan's Fire all hit that point. Finally, the shield completely shattered, exposing the 7 Emperor Dao people under their protection. Third soul skill, Blue-Silver Strangulation. Tang San's blue-silver grass stretched out from the gap, aiming directly at Huan'an's neck. The attack was very ruthless. The poison on blue-silver strangulation was deadly enough. Chapter 158. The year of targeting Tang San. The number 1 soul skill, Wing Blade. As a boyfriend, how could Yu Feng tolerate Tang San doing this to Huan'an? Cutting the blue-silver grass into 2 pieces with 1 wing, and said angrily, "Is this Tang San crazy? It was just a game, but he actually dared to kill me." Tianlin didn't say much. This is the style of the Tang Sect. The Tang Sect in any world is almost the same. As long as it is an opponent, it will never show mercy. If the blue-silver strangulation hit just now, even if Tang San left some remaining strength, based on the rules of the game to prevent Huan'an from dying, the poison would inevitably enter her body, causing great damage to her body and even affecting her subsequent cultivation. You bastard. Yu Feng had forgotten Tianlin's plan before the game, and flew out of the shield formation, spreading his wings. The third soul skill, the Wind of Darkness. The fourth soul skill, a Prairie Fire. The third and fourth soul rings lit up at the same time. Yu Feng did something unexpected. He could actually use the third and fourth soul rings at the same time. One of his 2 wings turned into a blue-red color, blowing out a scorching and cutting wind. The other wing turned into black, blowing out a black whirlwind that can directly hit the soul. What's the origin of this Yu Feng? Even the 7 treasure glazed tile sects distracted. Control can't divide his soul power into 2 halves and use different soul skills each. The master looked horrified. In such a situation, he never seen either. Even the 7 treasure glazed tile tower seems to have given many people several layers of boosts in one breath. But it also goes through a certain sequence, with strength first, then speed, rather than all at the same time. There are still a few tenths of a second in between. There was a time difference, but Yu Feng actually used it together, which meant that he could use the combination technique by himself. Lanjun. Kaiang. As he expected, Yu Feng actually used a single combination skill. The 2 winds merged and doubled their power. At this time, Shrek's half was already attacked by a terrifying physical attack and a soul attack. Surrounded by strong winds, this power is no less powerful than the Soul King's 5th soul skill. Everyone thinks that Huangdao relies on Tianlin, Guran, Xianheng, and Yanzi. In fact, the other people are not bad at all. Qinming said proudly. This single person combination skill, as it took several years to finally master Yu Feng's unique skill. Although he has a lower presence in the Imperial fight, his level of effort is by no means inferior to anyone else. The Wind and Fire Horse Chestnut Flower that Yu Feng once took is the best fairy grass that has distinct but perfect fusion of the 2 attributes of wind and fire. He got inspiration from it, and only Yu Feng who took this flower can complete it. This magical action point, the 7 Shrek people were all surrounded by Yu Feng's strong wind. Not only did their bodies hurt from the wind blade, but their spirits also became trance-like. What? A powerful attack. We must restrain him. The second soul skill is parasitism. At this moment, Tang San reluctantly raised his hand and activated his second soul skill. Blue silver grass suddenly grew on the wind controlling wings. Locking his wings, it turned out that just when Yu Feng cut off Tang San's blue silver grass, Tang San also left the seeds on his body. As expected, Tang San was still the same Tang San, thoughtful. Everyone, are you okay? The strong wind finally stopped. Tang San looked back at everyone and asked, brother, I'm fine. After all, Xiao Wu was in the form of a 100,000-year-old soul beast, and his energy was stronger than that of ordinary soul beasts, so he could barely hold on. The 2 soul masters, Damu Bei and Mahangjin, were not a big problem, but the 3 soul masters, Zhu Zuking, Meng Yiran and Tai Long, had completely passed out. Yu Feng, this guy, crippled 4 people, and knocked out 3 with one move, disrupting all my bait plans. Fortunately, Tang San is still awake. You have to be careful next time. Xinan, I'm here for you. Have specially prepared this scene. Tianlin glanced at the cold Xinan and the audience. Shrek, as the opponent of Kanghu Academy, naturally wanted to investigate the information as the team leader. Senior, Huanayan, how are you preparing? Tianlin turned around and asked, just right. Huanayan smiled slightly and started playing a new piano piece in his hand. The second soul skill, the world of mortals confuses the heart. The second soul skill hidden by phantom sound is her only restricted soul skill. Those who fall into this song will fall into an endless illusion, as if they have got what they want most in this world of mortals. Generally, reluctant to leave point in front of Xiao Wu's eyes, her mother was standing in front of her, holding her hand to Tang San's side, and then holding their hands together. Below were the blessings of damning and erming. Xiao Wu's happiest thing is to hold a wedding with the person she loves most under the witness of her mother and friends. Damu Bei, at this time, defeated Davis and sat on the emperor's throne. Besides Zhu Zuking, there were 3,000 beauties from the harem beside him. He was very happy. Although Mahangjin is also surrounded by beauties, the situation is different from him. He is enjoying the feeling of being pursued by many beauties. After all, because of his appearance, most of the time, he is the one chasing girls. So many beauties are jealous of him. The sun satisfied his vanity. Seeing this scene, Xinan was slightly moved. I didn't expect that this little girl from Huangdao would have such a powerful illusion type soul skill. But the reason why she can exert such power is because she has accumulated it for a long time. Haha, she is better than me. Not even close. Everyone, fight them all out now. Yu Xianheng took the lead and rushed towards the 4 people on the opposite side. Shimo Momo pushed Damu Bei and Mahangjin away respectively. Xianlin sent Xiao Wu off the field, and Tang San, Yu Xianheng, Yu Feng, and Osluo, the last remaining ones, rushed towards him. But at this moment, Tang San, who seemed to be confused at first, suddenly came to his senses and immediately launched a counterattack, while the 3 of them were not paying attention. First, he used the move of controlling crane and capturing dragon to use his strength to attack Oslo, who was flying towards him. Throw it towards Yu Feng. The 2 of them collided with each other, and then Lan Yu and Ko tied them up at the same time, using hidden weapon techniques to throw them away towards Yu Xianheng. What? Yu Xianheng was also caught off guard by the collision. The 3 of them, Huangdao, were actually thrown off the field at the same time by Tang San, a small soul master. You didn't fall into my illusion? Huanayan asked in surprise. Illusion is useless to me. Tang San opened his eyes, purple pupils flickering unexpectedly. Brother Tang, your purple demon eyes have reached the peak of subtlety. Normal illusions are indeed useless to you. I was careless this time. Qianlen said in annoyance, with a heavy expression on his face. I blamed myself, as if this tactical mistake was all caused by myself. Tang San smiled slightly when he saw this. It was enough to fight here. Shrek was the only one left now, so he couldn't be the opponent of Huang Dao and the other 4. But if he challenged 3, Shrek would no longer lose face point after all. Apart from them, no one in Huang Dao could be defeated, even if they were as powerful as the Kamikaze elephant armor. We admit defeat in this game. Tang San walked off the field with satisfaction. He no longer wanted to continue a losing battle. Little did he know, a guy in the stands had already set his sights on him. Purple demonic eyes? A soul skill I have never heard of, but it seems to be the nemesis of illusions. Doesn't this guy completely restrain our Kanghu Academy? In fact, this was too much to worry about at that time. Without the ability to see through autumn dew, Tang San's purple devil eyes, which were not at the level of mustard seeds, could only see through some simple illusions, such as the 7-in-1 fusion technique of Kanghu Academy's 7 Shura illusion. He can't see through it now. But for people like Shinan, just guessing is enough. In order to ensure victory, his favorite thing to do is to nip danger in the cradle. In particular, seemingly powerless soul masters like Tang San were his primary targets. Chapter 159, using soul bones as bait. Seeing that Tang San had admitted defeat, Tianlin stepped down and helped Yu Xianheng, who was knocked unconscious. The 2 agility attack spirit masters, each of the Shi brothers, also picked up one and walked towards their own lounge. Unexpectedly, as soon as he arrived indoors, Yu Xianheng pushed Tianlin away and said, "You are such a good boy. I lost my title because of you today." That's right. How embarrassing it would be if the seniors in the academy knew that I was beaten out by a soul lord. Oslo and Yu Feng also jumped off the backs of the Shi brothers, looking a little bit nothing happened. Obviously, these 3 guys just now were all faking. Otherwise, how could Tang San, a little soul master, be able to defeat 3 soul sects? Even Huan Yin's second soul skill has not been charged to the limit. Otherwise, it may not be possible to see through it only with the 2nd level of the purple demon eye. All this was to highlight that Tang San was not weak and could see through illusions, thus attracting Tang San's attention in that time, so that he could use Tang San as bait. Taking advantage of Tang Heo's absence during this period is the best time to make a move. Tianlin smiled and patted their shoulders to comfort them. "Okay, I will compensate you. Xianheng, I promised you a bottle of true essence pill. I will definitely send someone to deliver it after the competition. And Oslo, just forgive the debt you still owe me in Duran, but I can't make the final decision regarding Senior Lingling. You can negotiate with her yourself. That's about the same." Yu Xianheng nodded with satisfaction. The true Yuan pill and the Zuan Yuan pill that Tianlin gave to Tang San had similar appearance and names, but their effects were completely different. All the herbs used to refine the true Yuan pill were completely different. It is a rare thing with amazing medicinal effects. Therefore, the soul power enhanced by the true Yuan pill is extremely condensed without damaging the foundation. It is a treasure that assists the cultivation of middle and low level soul masters. This elixir is of little use to Yu Xianheng, who is now close to the Soul King, but he can take it back to assist the cultivation of the younger generation in the sect. Compared with the development of the sect, his little face is nothing. As for Oslo, he felt that it was very worthwhile to get rid of the huge debt by losing one person. At this time, he was finally debt free. As for Yi Lingling, he could pay it off soon. After all, his family was pretty good. A small nobleman, even if he is not as wealthy as the Qibao Glazed sect, can still scrape together hundreds of thousands of gold soul coins by living frugally. Then, I have some things to leave for. See you later. Tianlin walked out of the Huangdao lounge and walked towards Shrek. With his mental power, he has already noticed that there is a powerful spiritual soul master who is targeting Shrek. Needless to say, he must be young. However, although the hostility is strong, the murderous intention is not strong. This is not okay. At this time, Shrek and others were about to return, and Tianlin immediately stepped forward and said, "Brother Tang, please stay." "Ah, Brother Jian, why are you here with us?" Ning Rangrang threw herself into Tianlin's arms in surprise. During this period, in order to avoid suspicion, she missed her to death. "Rangrang, good boy, I have something important to discuss with Brother Tang. You should go back with Dean Flanders and the others first." Tianlin winked at Ning Rangrang. Ning Rangrang and Tianlin had been together for so long, and she immediately figured out his intentions. Tianlin would never look down upon someone who had already fallen out with him, and now he suddenly came to see Tang San again. Most of them wanted to trick him. Although Tang San was her classmate, he was far from being called a friend now. Tianlin's position in her heart was much more important, so she followed Tianlin's words and said, "Okay, brother Jian, if you want to come again look at me." "Yes." Tianlin nodded towards her and walked towards Tang San and said, "Brother Tang, can you give me some face and find a place to chat alone?" Tang San hesitated for a moment, but he thought that sooner or later he would conquer the Qibao Glazed Sect, so there was no harm in chatting with Tianlin first. "Teacher, in that case, you go back first. I will be back in a while." "Okay, don't stay outside for too long," the master instructed, then looked at Tianlin, said nothing, snorted coldly, and turned around to leave. It seems that he is still resenting Tianlin for what happened that day. Tianlin didn't bother to pay attention to him and took Tang San to an empty restroom and sat down across from each other. Tang San said directly, "Brother Jun, if you have something to say, just say it. If it's a matter of cooperation, then let's not talk about it. You insulted my teacher like this last time. I will definitely seek justice. HMPH, it's fair. Give me another chance and I will still say that. As for cooperating with you, forget it if you don't want to. I'm here today just to return your last favor." With that, Tianlin took it from his belt. He took out a treasure box and said, "Since the cooperation is interrupted, I should have returned your drawings, but those things are very useful to my 7 treasures glazed sect, so I came here today to completely buy it out from you. The value of the things in the box should be that's enough." Tang San was a little confused when he heard this. Didn't Tianlin pay for it already? Why would he go out of his way to buy it again? "Don't make a fuss. Don't I know that the actual price of the drawings you gave me is much higher than that? It was only because of cooperation that it was sold cheaper. However, my Qibao Glazed Sect never takes advantage of others and owes others. I will definitely return it, and after today, you and I will be completely clean." Tianlin said seriously. Hearing this, Tang San changed his opinion of Tianlin a lot. It is true that if it weren't for Tang Lin's cooperation for the reason of Buddha's fury, he would not necessarily sell it, even if he was given 5 million gold soul coins. Tianlin is a principled person. It's pretty strong. No wonder the Qibao Glazed Sect's reputation outside has gotten better and better in recent years. Just because it doesn't bully others, it's a pity that Tianlin is still too young in Tang San's heart. No matter how many benefits he gives him, his heart will not change. The hidden weapon blueprints belonging to the Tang Sect must be taken back. Since the 7 treasures glazed sect has already seen it, then conquer the entire sect together. Of course, that is in the future, so you still have to pretend now. In that case, I won't be polite. Tang San took the box with peace of mind. Opening the treasure box, there was actually a soul bone inside. It was the poisonous skull that no one in Tianlin sect had ever used. Tang San's breathing became heavy with excitement. With his eyesight, he could naturally tell that it contains quite a lot of poisonous properties, and the compatibility with him is quite good. Tianlin also felt that Tang San was not the only one whose heartbeat was accelerating at this time, but also the person in the dark. Tianlin took out the soul bone just to further attract Shinan. Although he already had a skull, he didn't have one. People will dislike having too many soul bones in their own body. Even if they cannot use them, they can still use them to replace other parts. The skull is more precious than the limbs, so there is still a chance to replace it with suitable limb soul bones. Brother Jun, then let's cancel the matter between us and say goodbye. Tang San couldn't wait to leave. He just wanted to find a safe place to absorb this soul bone. This should allow him to break through directly. Level 40. Tianlin was still sitting in the lounge, his lips raised slightly. Shinan, Tang San, my soul bone is not that easy to get. You must be prepared to pay the price. Chapter 160. Tang San's despair in remnant dreams. After leaving the great soul fighting arena, Tang San quickly walked towards Shrek Academy. At this time, he was thinking about finding a place to absorb soul bones and break through level 40, so that he could achieve greater success in this competition. It's still morning, the sun is shining brightly, and a warm light shines on your body, giving you a warm feeling. Tangson originally liked bathing in the sunshine like this. It felt like walking while thinking about cultivation problems, but today he was particularly anxious. He had no choice but to tell him that there was a treasure on his 24 bridges under the bright moon point. For some reason, Tangson felt that today's journey seemed a bit long. After walking for so long, it felt like he was already arriving at the academy point, but when I looked up, it seemed that there was still a long way to go from the academy point. Could it be that you are walking slowly today? Tangson frowned and quickened his pace again. As he walked, Tangson's pace suddenly slowed down, and he vaguely felt something was wrong. The sun was shining brightly on my body, but the feeling of warmth had long since disappeared. Instead, there was a hint of coldness that seemed to come from all directions. The slowed pace stopped, and the light in Tangson's eyes suddenly became alert. Everything around him seemed to have not changed much, and pedestrians passed by him in an endless stream. It's not too far from Shrek Academy from here. Could it be that I'm too worried? Tangson looked back at the path he had walked, his sharp eyes scanning the passers-by around him, but he didn't find anything wrong. Everything seemed normal. After calming down, Tangson raised his feet again and walked forward, but the Zuanshan Kung gathered unconsciously. He believed in his own feelings. People in the Tang sect were good at using poison, and sometimes they worried that they would be poisoned, so they had a strong sense of crisis. The keen intuition made the trace of uneasiness in Tangson's heart continue to amplify. However, his calm mentality prevented him from accelerating his pace again. Instead, he moved forward slowly, while spreading his perception as much as possible, looking for possible clues around him. After walking forward for a moment, Tangson suddenly stopped, his expression becoming serious. No, there is definitely something wrong. Although his perception didn't find any problems, Tangson was very thoughtful. According to the distance he was walking, he should have arrived at the gate of the academy long ago. But no matter how he walked now, he would always have such a long way to go before the academy. It was as if a ghost is wandering around like a wall, as expected of someone who can defeat Huang Dao and the others. He is indeed extraordinary and very vigilant. Unfortunately, you discovered it too late. At this time, a cold voice echoed in Tangson's ears. A figure in white walked from far to near. This person Tangson had seen before. He was the leading teacher of Kanghu Academy in that time. Seeing this person, Tangson couldn't help but feel more and more depressed. He stared at Shinan quietly and said, "It turns out he is a teacher from Kanghu Academy. I wonder what advice you can give me if you stop me here." Nan smiled calmly and said, "It's nothing to teach me. I just need you to disappear." Tangson said coldly, "For the Continental Advanced Spirit Master Academy Elite Competition." A hint of coldness appeared at the corner of Shinan's mouth. "Of course, not only, but also your soul bone. Don't you understand the principle that a man is not guilty, but carries a treasure with him?" What? Tangson was shocked. Shinan actually found out about the soul bones. It seemed that, when he was talking to Tianlin, this person overheard them all. The other party was a soul saint, and they had a soul. How could the king, a soul master, find out? "You want to kill me?" Tangson asked in a deep voice. Shinan snorted coldly, "It's just that you are so outstanding. You actually have the soul skills to restrain illusions. For the victory of the academy and the soul bones, you have to die." Tangson sneered, "Are you taking action here? Don't forget, this is a street. Even if you kill me, you won't be able to gain a foothold in the Spirit Master world." Nan smiled. The wrinkles on his face were piled together, and a cold light flickered in his gloomy eyes. "Since I decided to take action, I have already been fully prepared. Look carefully. This is really the streets of Xiandao City." What? The hazy scene around him suddenly became clear, and Tangson was surprised to find that he was standing in a wilderness. Looking back, he could vaguely see the top of Xiandao City. He immediately judged that this should be a small forest outside the city. He was actually led here by Shinan unknowingly. "You are finished. You have no strength or influence. Judging from your conversation with Sword Lord just now, your current relationship with the 7 treasures, Glazed Sect is not very good. I will kill you without any burden." After saying that, Shinan turned into light smoke, and the surrounding environment changed again. Shinan's voice came from all directions. Tang-san, do you know what the greatest pleasure I have in this life is? That is watching my opponent perform magic tricks. Go crazy until you die. Tang-san used his purple demon eyes with all his strength, but unfortunately, he couldn't see through the autumn dew. His purple demon eyes were only at the second level, and he couldn't see through the illusion of the soul saint point at this moment. Tang-san dreamed of returning to ghosts, and once again returned to the scene, where he was forced to jump off the cliff by the elders of the Tang sect. However, after learning from Tianlin that he had not been expelled from the sect, this scene had an impact on his psychology. The shadows have been greatly reduced, and he can barely survive it. The next scene made Tang-san's eyes burst with anger. The beautiful Xiao Wu was being bullied by the wretched Uncle Bule. Xiao Wu desperately asked him for help. Unfortunately, Tang-san couldn't move now, and could only watching helplessly. No. Tang-san's shrill wail resounded through the woods on the treetop not far away. Tianlin felt a little sorry when he heard the sound. What did Tang-san see? He screamed so sadly. The purple demon eyes don't work, and there is no king of hell who turned defeat into victory in the original work. It seems he won't be able to hold on much longer. It's time for me to take action. Thump. In the woods. After a while, Tang-san finally collapsed and passed out. As a human being in 2 lifetimes, his mental power is already very strong. If he had been an ordinary person, he would have been brain dead. Oh, it's not bad. You just fainted. Forget it, although it's a pity that I can't see you die of despair, but in order to save time, I'll do it myself. After saying that, Shinan pinched one of his hands. Tang-san's neck, intending to finish him off completely. At this moment, a flying stone hit the back of his hand. The flying stone contained huge soul power, which caused pain on the back of his hand, and he subconsciously took it back. I'm sorry, Shinan. He still has some use. I can't let you kill him. Tianlin held the magic sword in his hand and walked towards this side step by step. Sword. Lord. Shinan's pupils shrank, but he didn't expect that Tianlin would see the scene where he was about to kill Tang-san. What should I do now? Should I kill Sword Lord together? Then he will definitely be hunted to death by the Qibao Glazed Sect. Chapter 161. Kill Shinian and get the fantasy skull. Jianjun, this matter has nothing to do with you. Please don't meddle in other people's business. Shinan said with an extremely ugly face. Tianlin raised his sword. So what if I insist on taking care of it? Now that Tang-san has defeated the 3 of you Huangdao, it can be considered that you Huangdao have lost all face. Moreover, I just heard the conversation between you and Tang-san. There seems to be a rift between you. If I kill him, it will end with you. There are only benefits. Shinan said as he walked closer to Tianlin, and at the same time he kept accumulating strength with his hands behind his back. If possible, he really didn't want to be an enemy of Tianlin. Compared with the seemingly powerless Tang-san, Qibao, he couldn't afford to offend the Liuli sect. Even if he could destroy the body after killing Tianlin, the Qibao Glazed Sect could easily find him if they investigated Tianlin's schedule today. By then, it would not matter, even if the Qibao Glazed Sect had no evidence. It's just that he can't be tried by law. Why can't they carry out attacks and murders? For these large sects, just suspicion is enough to sentence him to death. After all, this is not the kind of law-based society like Tianlin's previous life. Evidence and so on are not important at all. But if Tianlin insists on this matter today, then he can only be ruthless. At worst, he will immediately escape after killing him, whether it is to go to the killing capital or join the Wuhan palace. With his soul saint with such strength, I don't believe that I can't find a way to survive. Haha, I have heard for a long time that Mr. Shinan will retaliate for his anger and will do whatever it takes to achieve his goals. It is true, when I see him today. Tianlin sensed his small movements and said with a faint smile, "You are exactly the same as me." After saying that, fire flashed in Tianlin's eyes. The opponent was accumulating strength, and he was also the same. At this time, Tianlin released a powerful murderous aura that was terrifying. The purpose of using Tang-san as bait was for Shinan's soulbone. How could he let him go at this time? 7th. Soul skill, Nightmare. Sensing the huge killing intent suddenly emitted by Tianlin, Shinan subconsciously released his martial soul's true form. A huge illusion enveloped Tianlin, and Shinan said bitterly, Jianjun, since you don't know what is good and what is good, I have no choice but to be cruel to you. Repent in despair. Despair? Look who is in despair, golden flame burning soul. Tianlin's eyes flashed with light, and the entire illusion space was instantly surrounded by raging fire. What kind of flame is this? Why can even my fantasy space burn? Ah! Shinan screamed in pain. If Tang San's howl just now was full of despair, then Shinan's scream now is extremely sad. The first soul skill, Ning Hangsu. Tianlin took the opportunity to step forward and prepared to cut off his head. At this moment, Shinan raised his ferocious face, and light flashed on his forehead. Suddenly his mental power increased greatly, and Tianlin also felt that his mental power had been weakened to a certain extent. The fifth soul skill, illusion. Relying on this increasing and decreasing mental power gap, Shinan barely escaped from the burning flames and used his fifth soul skill to escape Tianlin's attack. What Tianlin killed with one sword was just one of his dreams. Phantom body. Oh, is this the 10,000 years illusion realm skull you snatched after killing the people at the Xiandao auction house? Tianlin said with satisfaction. It's really good. The trick just now was the illusion space. It can increase your mental power. At the same time, it will also weaken the opponent's mental strength and even have a hallucinogenic effect on the opponent. You actually know about this? Shinan was startled and suddenly thought of something. I understand. This Tang San is the bait you set out. He saw through the illusion in the last game and defeated Huan Dao and the others. Or whatever, it's basically your script, just to attract my attention. Let me lure him out of the city to assassinate him, and then you come and kill me, right? Yes, it's a pity that you knew it too late. Brother Xian Meng, let's go. Tianlin called out. Xian Meng Bingshan understood. I understand. Xiaoshan, I still want to show off a 1,000-year-old skull in front of you and my brother. Let him see how powerful my million-year-old mental skull is. In the field of mental interference, a field far larger than the illusory space spreads around Tianlin. The effect of this field is very similar to that of the illusory space, but its power is completely different. After all, there is a gap between 10,000 years and millions of years. The illusory space was suppressed. At this time, a huge suction force suddenly came from Tianlin's forehead, and Shinan's spirit was sucked in without any resistance. This is a special space, and in front of him is a huge snow-white flesh insect. What is this? Shinan was horrified. He didn't expect that this kind of monster actually lived in the spirit of the sword master. If you dare to bully my Xiaoshan with your martial soul avatar, I will kill you. Qian Meng Ice Worm released a wave of mental waves that instantly shattered Shinan's spirit and turned it into countless pitch black particles. It had no fighting ability, but compared with spiritual power, many gods may not be able to compare with it. At this time, how many people did he torture and kill when he was alive? His soul particles are as black as ink. Qian Meng Binkan said, who knows, but brother Qian Meng, he can't bully me. The fantasy martial spirit avatar is of no use to me. Tianlin said that he just wanted to save trouble and let Qian Meng Ice Worm take action. How could the other party bully me? His ability and face cannot be lost. After disposing of Shinan's soul, Tianlin walked towards Shinan's body. At this time, Shinan was just like the death Tyrannosaurus last time. His heart was still beating, and his blood was flowing, but he had no consciousness at all. Nyan, you, a bad guy, met a bad guy like me, consider yourself unlucky. Tianlin slashed his long sword, and the powerful ultimate fire immediately completely burned Shinan's body, and a piece of soul bone fell to the ground. That was the illusion skull. Tianlin stepped forward, picked it up, and put it into the soul guide, then turned to look at Tang San, and first tore off Tang San's 24 bridges of bright moonlight. His poison soul bone is still here. Does it really have to be left to Tang San? Of course it has to be taken back. Anyway, in the future, Tang San will only think that it was stolen by Shinan. Looking at Tang San, who was frowning, even though he had fainted, with a look of pain on his face. Tianlin had a rare flash of guilt. He could have a clear conscience about the previous Ice and Fire Eyes and the human-faced demon spider soul ring, because the Ice and Fire Eyes belonged to the Douluo family, and Douluo could give them to whomever he wanted. And the human-faced demon spider was originally Mr. Long. Mengyaran was also eligible to get those who started hunting. These things didn't have to belong to Tangsen in the first place. But today, he did use Tangsen for his own benefit. It could be said that he was the one who caused him to be like this. Tianlin channeled a stream of spiritual power, repaired Tangsan's damaged soul, and used the soul reading technique to delete all the unbearable memories he had seen in the illusion of his time. Tangsan's expression improved visibly. Tianlin whispered, "Tangsan, this mental power should be considered as compensation for you. Make good use of it. You should be able to understand something. From now on, I hope you won't mess with me again. Otherwise I won't. I will show mercy to you." Chapter 162 Predicting the Future. Just as Tianlin was about to leave, Qian Mengbinken suddenly said, "Wait a minute, Zhaoshan, my million-year-old soul bone seems to be sensitive to this Tangsan induction?" Tianlin asked doubtfully. He felt it quietly, and the skull actually warned him again. This all stems from a soul skill that predicts the future. Even if the soul skill is not actively released, Tianlin's perception of danger will be much sharper. Could it be related to Tangsan? Tianlin walked to Tangsan again. Soul bone skill. Predict the future. Strong. Light enveloped Tangsan, and a strange picture appeared in Tianlin's mind. After a while, Tianlin came back to his senses, his mind trembling. What was going on in that scene just now? It was so strange. Damn it, the time was too short. I didn't see much. Tianlin sat cross-legged and thought. The scene just now did not appear at all in the original work. He did not appear. Only Tangsen and something else. But since the skull would warn him, it must be related to him. Zhaoshan, calm down. I don't know what you just saw, but no matter what it is, now that you know it, make preparations in advance. Qian Meng Iceworm said in a message. Tianlin took a deep breath, and then said calmly, "You are right. Thank you for reminding me, brother Qian Meng. But if it is true, Tangsan, I will help you once more, and also help myself once." Later, Tianlin used the second method of predicting the future to preset his two soul skills in Tangsan's body, and they would be released when the time came. "Tangsan, I'm sorry, I have to use you again, but if what happened in the picture really happens, then it won't actually harm you." After Tianlin said that, he turned and left. Judging from the picture just now, something terrible will happen in the future, and he needs to think about it carefully. The fate of Tangsan, the protagonist of the original work, is indeed not impeded. After using Predict the Future on him, the cooldown time was as high as 3 years. Now Tianlin can't find other clues, even if he wants to predict the future. 3 hours later, Tangsen slowly woke up. He had completely forgotten everything in the illusion, only remembering that Shinan suddenly attacked him, and then he passed out. Quickly getting up and checking himself, Tangsen found strangely that not only was his mental power unscathed, but it was only slightly stronger than before. In addition, Shinan was also missing. The only thing he lacked was the 24 bridges on his body. The bright moon night was taken away. Could it be that Shinan let me go? His purpose was just to collect my skull on the moonlit night of 24 bridges. But I heard from the dean before that he wasn't such a soft-hearted person. Tangsen was puzzled, but he also knew that it was not suitable to stay here for a long time. If he left and came back at that time, he would really be finished. Tangsen picked up the ghost shadow and hurried back to Shrek Academy without knowing anything. Before he reached the entrance of the academy, Tangsen already saw Xiao Wu standing there, waiting anxiously. "Brother." Seeing Tangsen, tears welled up in Xiao Wu's eyes, and she rushed towards him like flying. Because he had been missing for so long, Xiao Wu and Amy Bei, who had the best relationship with him in the academy, were both anxious. It's not that the others weren't worried at all. After all, they were classmates, but they weren't as flustered as Xiao Wu. "Xiao Wu, don't worry, I'm completely fine. I just went for a walk in the woods after talking to Brother June." Tangsen stroked Xiao Wu's head and comforted him. He didn't say anything about what happened back then, so as not to worry Xiao Wu. Where's the teacher? I have something to talk to him about. Master is also worried about you. He is in the academic affairs office now. He has also told us that, as soon as you come back, go find him immediately. Damu Bei said at the side point. Tangsun nodded and said to Xiao Wu, go and rest first. I'll be back soon. Yeah. Although Xiao Wu was reluctant to give up, she also knew that Tangsun must be in such a hurry to find the master that he had something important to say and she would not follow him willfully. Tangsun came to the master's office. The door was only ajar. He opened the door and walked in. Teacher, I'm here. Just come back. The master stood up and asked seriously, Xiaozhen, what happened just now? Just chatting with the sword master. You actually disappeared for a few hours. I was attacked at Kanghu Academy. Tangsun no longer had anything to hide from the master. The master's expression suddenly changed when he heard this. Are you talking about Kinmeng Shinan? Has he done anything to you? At that time, he was a soul master who was famous for his cruelty, retribution, and unscrupulous means to achieve his goals. Anyone who made an enemy of him would basically not end well. Those with good luck will die relatively quickly, while those with bad luck will not be able to die. Even if they want to, they will only collapse completely in despair and then become brain dead. Tangsun shook his head. He didn't do anything to me. I fainted as soon as I saw him. Then, he took away my 24 bridges of bright moon night. Have you fainted as soon as we met? You were a spiritual soul sage at that time, and his spiritual power is extremely strong. He must have knocked you out. The master thought he was analyzing, but how did he change his gender? In the past, he would never only seize treasures and not kill people. No matter how hard he thought about it, he couldn't understand it. The master simply gave up thinking about it and said, forget it, just be fine. It's just a 24 bridge on a bright moon night. If you lose it, just throw it away. Everything stored there is yours. Is the hidden weapon correct? The worst case scenario is to remake it later. Don't you still have the 1 million gold soul coins given to you by the Qibao Glazed Sect? I don't care about those basic hidden weapons. Even if he got it at that time, he couldn't copy it without the blueprints. However, there is a soul bone in it, and it should be a skull with plant poison attributes. It was given to him by the Sword Lord of the Seven Treasures Glazed Sect. Mine. After the cooperation is over, I will give them the supplementary fee for the hidden weapon blueprints. Tangsun frowned. A good treasure was robbed. As soon as he got it, how could he be in a good mood? What did you say? The master was no longer calm now. In his vision for Tangsun, there were only two types of soul bones to choose. The first choice is the strength-based soul bone that increases physical fitness the most. In the future, it will be used with the clear sky hammer to prepare for the addition of soul rings to the second martial soul point. The second choice is the plant soul bone combined with the blue silver grass to enhance the toughness of the blue silver grass. It is best to be poisonous and to increase the power. You bastard, Shinan. At this moment, the master's image was completely destroyed, and the soul bone was too sensitive in the soul master world. Especially the skull and torso bones. If such valuable treasures were robbed, the master could scold him for not bringing them with him for 3 days and 3 nights. On the other side, Tianlin also returned to the dormitory. As soon as he came back, he lay on his bed, with unpredictable thoughts turning over and looking at the ceiling. Tianlin murmured to himself, is it the butterfly effect? Or something else? Although a fragmented and unclear picture was nothing, Tianlin wanted to find out the truth of the matter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 163. The top 5 are revealed. The conflict between the Empire and Wuhan Palace. The next day, Tianlin woke up from his sleep. He couldn't calm down yesterday, so he did not continue to meditate and practice, lest he would go crazy. In his dream, he saw that strange scene again. Have you been thinking about something every day and dreaming about it at night? Tianlin held his forehead and jumped out of the bed like a carp. Forget it, let's talk about the next thing later. Anyway, I have a backup plan. According to the situation, even if it does happen, the most unlucky one should be Tang San. Forget it if you can't understand it. No matter what happens in the future, as long as Tianlin has enough strength to deal with it, it will be fine. At this time, it is better to practice hardpoint. After briefly freshening up, Tianlin joined Huang Dao and everyone else, and came to the competition venue. In the battle with Zixing, Tianlin and Guran did not appear. They were too weak. The two eldest brothers of the Shi family, with the help of Qinming, came up with a solution for them. Their advancing tactics easily overwhelmed their battle formation point. This fight was very uneventful, and did not cause any disturbance. After all, no one thought that Zixing had a 1% chance of defeating Huang Dao. However, the subsequent battle between Shrek and Kang Hui attracted the attention of many people. At point Shrek is the new dark horse, with a high winning rate in this competition. The strength he has shown so far is not inferior to that of the 5-element academy. The most important thing is that Tang San in the team yesterday actually defeated Huang Dao and the others. Off the field point, as for Kang Hu, a seemingly ordinary academy, it exceeded everyone's expectations. They actually used a 7-in-1 fusion technique called 7 Shura illusion point originally, among all the academies, except for Tianlin's external soul bone and Wu Hundian's fusion technique Yaomei. Probably no other academy could resist this move point, but they still lost today because of Tang San's purple demon eyes. Hey, Tang San's purple demon eye has actually entered the 3rd level, and can see through the 7 Shura illusions. Tianlin said secretly, this Tang San's luck is really extraordinary. It seems that he got it with the help of me. His mental strength is a blessing in disguise. Kang Hui and Shrek both acted cruelly, and Shinan disappeared. Kang Hui believed that Shrek had harmed Shinan, because they knew that Shinan left in the end, just to deal with Tang San. Point Shrek, on the other hand, believed that because he had robbed Tang San's soul bone, he was afraid of being troubled by the two soul saints, Flanders and Zhao Wuji, and was even accused of going to the competition organizing committee, and absconded in fear of crime. This matter was almost certainly yes. The only doubt is why he didn't kill Tang San back then. Is it because he became a teacher, changed his temper in the past few years, and knew how to be merciful to young people? If you can't figure it out, stop thinking about it. Anyway, the fault lies with the other party, so both sides will show no mercy this time. Point just like the original work, the illusion of the 7 Azuras was broken due to Tang San's spiritual attack, and the 7 Kang Hu people were turned into idiots by the spiritual backlash of their own soul skills. But this time Salus didn't attack Shrek because of this, because he didn't take Shrek Academy seriously at all. Tang San's ordinary blue-silver grass, and no 10,000-year soul ring were not worthy of him at all. Pay attention, the rules of the competition are that there can be no death. Isn't it because everyone in Kang Hu College is still alive? As for whether he lives well or not, that's none of his business. Therefore, Shrek did not need to pretend to be weak, and Tang San and others continued to participate in the next few games. Soon, the qualifiers for the competition came to the last day, and the top 5 who could advance were finally determined. Point needless to say, the first Emperor's fight was a victory in all 26 battles. Then came Thunder. They were lucky enough not to encounter Huang Dao. They won 25 out of 26 games, and the only one they lost was to Kamikaze. Point the 3rd place is Kamikaze, who defeated Thunder. He won 24 out of 26 battles. The 2 losses were to Huang Dao and Chihua respectively. The loss to Huang Dao was due to lack of strength. The reason for losing to Chihua was who? Everyone knows, isn't it? Because of a certain gale-licking dog that keeps releasing water. Then came Shai and Shu, with 23 wins in 26 battles. Of the 3 defeats, one was lost to Huang Dao, one was blown out by the divine wind, and one was lost to Lei Lei due to conflicting attributes. This time, they defeated Shrek. Without the blue-silver cage and Tang San's distracted control, there was no way they could stop Xu Bing'er and Zhu Wu's martial soul fusion skill license. No appealing. Point finally, there are Shrek and Blazing Fire. They both won 22 out of 26 battles. Shrek lost 1 game each to Huang Dao, Blazing Fire, Shai and Shu, and Thunder. As for Blazing Fire, although they defeated Kamikaze and Shrek, they were very unlucky, and also encountered Shai and Shu, Thunder, Xiangjia, and Huang Dao Point Blazing Fire was a little inferior to Xianshu Liting, so there was nothing to say about losing. Elephant Armor was completely a matter of luck. Facing Thunder the day before, his soul power was exhausted, and he lost to Elephant Armor once in back-to-back battles in the final confrontation with Huang Dao. When Tianlin unleashed his ultimate fire, the entire Blazing Fire Academy was defeated. Almost no soul skills could be used, and the defeat was extremely unjust. Because there can only be 5 teams that advance, the organizing committee has no choice but to seek fairness, and can only let Shrek and Blazing Fire fight again, and the winner will advance. But this time, unexpectedly, the loser was Blazing Fire. There was no other way. If he lost this time, he would be eliminated. The master had no choice but to release his last trump card, Ningrang Grand Point. The 9 treasure glazed tower that reaches level 45 can almost raise the strength of Shrek's entire team to a new level, and the pitch black 4th soul ring is even more shocking. Everyone has only one idea. Is the 7 treasure glazed tile sector gathering place for monsters? Not to mention the 2 soul kings. There is actually Ningrang Grand who is in the 4th ring of 10,000 years. Do you want to scare people to death? Relying on Ningrang Grang's strong support ability, Shrek managed to avoid relegation. However, Qibao was obviously not convinced by the loss. After the game, Huao approached Kamikaze battle captain Feng Xiaoshan and seemed to be discussing something. Tianlin guessed that the new Kamikaze team from the original work seems to be coming again. In the main hall, the 5 promoted teams stood in a row. Ningrang Grand winked at Tianlin cutely. The way he asked for praise was clearly asking how he performed in the battle just now. Tianlin secretly gave her a thumbs up in return. Regarding the 2 people's flirting behavior, Huang Dao and the others at Shrek said they couldn't see it. While Ning Fengzi smiled slightly. He had watched these 2 children grow up, and the better their relationship, the happier he would be. At this time, Emperor Zuyi stepped forward and said, all the players who have advanced to the team are talents of our empire. I will personally confer the title of Imperial Viscount to the captain and deputy captain of each team, and the title of Baron to the other team members. After you graduate, I will distribute fiefdoms. Just like the original work, Emperor Zuyi made a surprising decree and knighted everyone so simply. Tianlin also didn't expect that he, who was born as a commoner, would become a real nobleman so quickly, although he was not interested in this title. Your Majesty, I'm afraid this is inappropriate, isn't it? Salus on the side said with an ugly face. Anyone who can participate in the promotion competition is considered an outstanding soul master, and he, the Spirit Hall, still wants to recruit them. There is no precedent for awarding titles in the past. What's more, even if you want to give it, wouldn't it be a bit too high to give it directly to the Viscount? Zhu Yi glanced at him and said, Your Excellency Bishop Beijing, the awarding of titles is an internal matter of our empire. It seems to have nothing to do with Wuhan Palace, right? I promise again that, if the Xiandao Empire can produce a final championship team, then the titles of all members of this team will be upgraded to another level. Emperor Zhuai is very unhappy. He is the emperor. Who does he want to reward? Does he need your approval from Salus? The more you stop me, the higher my seal will be. Chapter 164 Promotion Match Meeting Bolak again. Xiandao Royal Academy, Xianshu Academy, Thunder Academy, Divine Wind Academy, Shrek Academy. You are the top 5 who stand out from many teams. I hope you will shine again in the promotion competition. By then, the 3 best performing schools will the academy will provide you with advanced soul beasts. Provided by the Empire, those with a cultivation level of less than 30,000 years, for you to choose. If the reward just now is nothing to everyone, they have already entered the Soul Master class, and are already out of the category of ordinary people. However, the reward from the Soul Beast is real. As a Soul Master, the most important thing is of course his advanced Soul Ring. Your Majesty is wise. Under this temptation, many people could not help but solemnly salute Emperor Zuyi. This scene made Salus feel angry, but he couldn't say anything here, so he could only sit back in his seat with an ugly expression. After leaving the main hall, Tangsun walked to Tianlin and asked, Brother Jun, did you notice just now that there seems to be quite a conflict between the Empire and Spirit Hall? Because of Tianlin's gift of the soul bone, the relationship between the two had already eased on the surface. Although the soul bone was later taken away by Xian, it was none of Xianlin's business in his heart. Xianlin is his future subordinate and a fellow countryman, and he can still communicate with him when nothing happens. Xianlin nodded. The title is not bad, but it even provides the guarantee of a 10,000-year soul beast. This allows us to choose between the Empire and the Spirit Hall. Brother Jun, do you think your majesty is just demonstrating against Wuhan Palace, or are the two forces secretly incompatible with each other? Tangsun knew that Xianlin was from the Qibao Glazed Sect and was usually close to the royal family, so he wanted to start from his set of information point. How could Xianlin not see this? He smiled slightly and said, I don't know, but I don't have to choose anyway, because I'm a member of the Qibao Glazed Sect. But brother Tang, you can think about it carefully. Xianlin patted Tangsun on the shoulder and left directly point. In fact, he believed that even if Tangsun didn't have a deep grudge against Wuhan Palace, he would still choose the Empire's side, because in his heart, he was a member of the aristocratic class, and only by following the Empire could he gain greater benefits and develop his empire. Tangman Point Xianlin didn't think so much. His most important thing now was to survive the soul hunting plan of Wuhan Palace in the future. He would talk about the rest later in the soul hunting operation. Most of the power came from Bibidong's side. As long as he could severely damage it, it would be much easier for Qin Rinxu to rise to power in the future. He must work hard to implement the way of coexistence that Xian Mengbing gave Xianlin, but the one who coexists with him cannot be Bibidong. Xianlin is selfish, but not entirely evil. As long as he can find a way to bring the continent into peaceful unification without sacrificing the Qibao Glazed Sect, he is willing to work hard for it. In the early morning of the second day, after a day's rest, all participating teams arrived at the new promotion venue. The promotion competition venue is not in Xiandao City, but in the military camp outside the city. There are 15 teams participating at this time. In addition to the 5 qualifying teams from the Xiandao Empire, the competition areas of many affiliated kingdoms and principalities of the Empire also have their own competition areas. Some teams stand out. Finally, they all gathered in the Xiandao military camp. Even the 10 teams from kingdoms and principalities that passed the qualifiers came earlier, and they needed to be familiar with the environment. At the same time, they all come with many promises from the kingdoms or principalities they represent. If they achieve good results, the rewards they can get are even greater than the promises of Emperor Zhuyi. After all, those kingdoms and principalities have a greater thirst for talents. Who doesn't want to have more powerful soul masters in their hands? In the war on Douluo Continent, the soul master has long become the decisive factor on the battlefield. The number of high-level soul masters is also the basis for measuring a party's power. It is precisely because of this that Wuhan Palace's status is so transcendent that even the two empires dare not offend easily. Even though they knew that those kingdoms and principalities were secretly supported by Wuhan Palace, they dared not speak out. The Balak Kingdom is the leader among them. As the strongest military force among the kingdoms affiliated with the Xiandao Empire, their status is extremely high. Coincidentally, as soon as Huang Dao entered the military camp, he ran into the Balak team. One of them looked at Xianlin angrily. When the two teams passed by, he seemed to want to tear Xianlin apart. Like broken pieces. Yu Xianheng whispered in Xianlin's ear. Ocean, that man is the vice captain of the Balak team, Albay, and the heir of the Ao family. I think he has been jealous of you for a long time, because of what happened back then. I know, but what I want to know more is the identity of their captain. Everyone just showed more or less hostility towards me, except him. Xianlin said curiously. Captain? You mean Luo Fuji? As the captain, Yu Xianheng has already collected information about the various teams. He and Albay are the only two soul sects in the Balak team, and they are from Bay, the two most powerful families under the Lak royal family. The Ao family is in charge of finance, and the Luo family is in charge of military affairs. Almost all the Soul Master Academies in the Berek Kingdom are under the jurisdiction of their Luo family, which has great power. Moreover, the two families are at odds. Discord. Xianheng said the most crucial word. Xianlin touched his chin thoughtfully. He knew that Qin Rinxu must have sent people to do the second attack on the Ao family. Although he was framed, Xianlin did not hate Qin Rinxu because of it. After all, From her perspective, she did not do what he did. Correct point. However, Tianlin can't be bullied into doing nothing. He also has a plan. If Qian Rinxu is willing to coexist with him in the future, Tianlin doesn't mind repaying evil with kindness and uses this plan to help Qian Rinxu. If she is not willing, the two of them will. If the other party must be an enemy, then this is his way to fight back. Ocean, this Luofuji is not a good person. In a sense, he is worse than the people of the Ao family. According to the information I heard, when he was in the Baloch Kingdom, this guy bullied men and domineering women. There are many things for the people to do, but because the Baloch Kingdom is special, although it is a subordinate kingdom of the Empire, except for necessary tribute, everything is completely independent, so even the Empire cannot control them. It can be seen that Tianlin seems to be in charge of them. What is Luofuji's idea? Yu Xianheng couldn't help but remind him. In that case, I can feel more at ease when I use this person. Tianlin smiled slightly. If he was a good person, he would have to worry about this person's safety when he resorted to tricks. But now that Yu Xianheng said this, it completely no need. Chapter 165 Promotion Competition begins. New Kamikaze Academy. There is no opening ceremony in the promotion round. The competition can start immediately tomorrow, and this event is very special. Point first, the battle has changed from team battle to one-on-one. Second, no team will be eliminated in the promotion round. Even if you lose all 14 games in the promotion round, you can still go to the finals, but your ranking will be lower. This competition may not seem to have much significance, but it is definitely not lacking, because this is the most intuitive judgment standard that can best reflect the strength of a soul master, and it is also the best time for major kingdoms and principalities to select talents. Kinming quickly brought everyone from Huangdao to the tent, assigned to them by the military camp to discuss tomorrow's competition. The opponent for the first round had already come out, and it was Berek Academy. It seems that Huangdao really stole Shrek's protagonist position. He killed Weevil before them in the preliminaries, and stole their Berek in the promotion round. The strength of Berek Academy is not too strong. There are only two soul sects, Captain Luofuji and Deputy Captain Albei. Their levels are both 41. I plan to let Qin Ming was about to line up his troops when Tianlin suddenly stepped forward and said, "Teacher, can you let me take the lead tomorrow? You want to play?" Qin Ming was stunned. He didn't understand what the little Berek had that was worthy of Tianlin. Could it be that he wanted to teach the Ao family who had a grudge against him? Ocean, what happened back then has passed. Only with an open mind can you move to a higher realm. Kinming subconsciously warned Tianlin. After hearing his words, Tianlin knew that Kinming had misunderstood. He had no interest in Albei at all, and his real target was Luofuji. Don't worry, Teacher Qin. I won't take advantage of the competition to seek revenge. That would be too low a price. Tianlin promised. Okay, then today's battle will end here. Let's go back and rest. Kinming nodded, as long as Tianlin understood what he meant. Oh, Yufeng, the promotion match is 7 versus 7. Teacher Qin only lined up one junior, Ocean. What about the people behind him? Huanine asked her boyfriend in confusion. Yufeng shrugged helplessly. Ocean has already taken action. Do you think the rest of us still have a chance to take action? Just as they had settled in, two guests, Ning Fengxi and Zuking, were welcomed outside the camp. Tianlin stepped forward and said, "Uncle Ning, Brother Zhu, why are you here today?" Zuking is not wearing a prince's attire, but is wearing an ordinary aristocratic costume. He feels like an ordinary aristocrat, especially when standing next to the elegant Ning Fengxi. He is like a foil and not attractive. Pay attention. He can really control his temperament to the point of doing whatever he wants. Zuking had a gentle smile on his face. Of course it's for you. I'm honored to come with my father to watch the promotion match this time. I came to see you, by the way. How is it? Are you still getting used to it here? If you feel uncomfortable, I'll call you. I'll give you another place. Tianlin quickly shook his head and said, "No need to bother. It's very good here. Thank you, Brother Zhu, for your concern. Okay, as long as you like it." Ocean, I can't stay too long. There are still many things in the palace that I need to deal with. Here, Brother Zhu can only wish you all the best. Zuking said with a smile. However, my eldest brother has already asked my father to fight for it. When the finals come, I will personally send you to Wuhan City, and my eldest brother will do my best to cheer you on. It was a pity that Snakespear Douluo did not come with him today, because he was afraid of being discovered by the titled Douluo next to Ning Fengzi. Otherwise, when he heard Zuking's words, the corner of his mouth would definitely twitch. Although young master, you and his majesty the Pope are at odds, they are on the same side at least. No matter what, you should cheer for Wuhandian Academy. Now you don't even hide your elbows turned outward. Okay, Xiaoshan, King and I are here to see you. Don't be careless during the competition. We'll leave first. Ning Fengzi warned, and left with Zuking Point in the early morning of the next day. The promotion competition to compete with the personal strength of these elite soul masters finally began. The promotion round does not have multiple arenas taking place at the same time like the qualifiers. Instead, there is only one competition venue, which is the Grand Campus of the Royal Knights. A total of 15 teams participating in the promotion round will compete in 14 rounds of round-robin matches, 1 round per day, with one team having a bye every day and 7 games. They are all held in the same venue. The university grounds have been renovated, and an area of 100 meters in diameter has been drawn in the center as the competition ground. Compared with a qualifier arena, the space here is wider, and it is naturally easier to display one's strength. On the north side of the university grounds, facing south, a temporary VIP seat was built, which was also the referee's seat. This time there were not as many distinguished guests as last time. Many nobles are missing. Looking around, in addition to Emperor Zui, Ning Fengzi, Platinum Bishop Salus, and others in the first row of the VIP seats, the seats in the back were filled with people dressed as military generals and some from the Xiandao City Spirit Temple. High-rise. There are also royal representatives from the major duchy kingdoms. They all come here to select talents. If there are outstanding ones, they will try their best to recruit them. After all, team battles are quite chaotic and many things are difficult to see clearly, but the promotion match is different. Every student will show his personal strength in front of everyone. This is also the best time to evaluate the strength of a soul master. It's just pity that the auxiliary soul masters have no use here. When the time came, Emperor Zui stood up from the VIP seat and loudly said through the soul guide, "The promotion competition officially begins today. In the next 14 days, I hope that the teams of each academy will give full play to their own strength and show their strength, the style that a spirit master should have." As soon as he finished speaking, shouts like a landslide and tsunami sounded in unison. Long live, long live, long live. The royal knights raised their lances high. The clang of their armor and their loud shouts clearly demonstrated the elegance of a great nation. The first game has already begun, and the first person to appear is Kamikaze Academy. Their opponent is a team called Fabia Academy. Surprisingly, the first person to appear on behalf of Kamikaze Academy was Huo Washang, the official captain of Blazing Academy. Obviously, the people from Blazing Academy joined the Kamikaze just like in the original work. This was a loophole in the rules. Although Blazing Academy lost and could not participate in the promotion competition, it did not say that the people from Blazing Academy could not transfer to a passing academy. Continuing to participate, this time they not only want to win the first game, but also try to score as big a score as possible. With the combination of the two powerful schools, Kamikaze suddenly became a powerful team with all Soul Sect level Soul Masters. Except for Wuhandian Academy and Imperial Fighting Team, probably no other academy could easily defeat them. Chapter 166 Alien version of Other Gods. In the first match, Huo Washang defeated 3 opponents in a row. His soul power was greatly weakened before he was defeated. Then Huo Wu stepped forward to challenge 4. The brother and sister of Yuan Chihuo proved with their strength that, although the Blazing Fire failed to advance to the promotion round this time, their strength is definitely not weak. The next few games were all contests between unknown small colleges. The mediocre battles did not attract anyone's attention. Even the Soul Sect rarely saw 1 point, but this time, everyone's eyes became serious. The battle between Huangdao was on the stage. Except for a few other teams in the Xiandao division, the 10 teams in other divisions didn't know much about Huangdao's intelligence. Especially Sword Lord. They only heard his name, but never met him. They wanted to see how powerful this guy who was rumored to be so miraculous that even the Spirit Hall Academy team was afraid of point under the attention of everyone. Tianlin stepped onto the ring step by step. Oh, Jianjin came on stage first. Brother, he wants to make a good start for the academy like us. Huo Wu looked at Huo Washang and said point. Huo Washang nodded non-committally. Maybe, but this is a good opportunity to observe his strength. In a one-on-one duel, his power will definitely be exposed to a great extent. Just as Huo Washang said, other colleges thought the same way, and everyone was ready to collect intelligence point. The Beric Academy on the opposite side also sent out its ace, Captain Luo Fuji, a level 41 Soul Sect point originally. This strength was considered acceptable among many academies. The problem was that when he met the Soul King level Tianlin, he had no resistance at all, which made Luo Fuji look ugly. He didn't expect to win today, but he also didn't expect to meet the Sword Master in the first game. Shouldn't this be the ace and put to the end? Tianlin was thankful that he had chosen to appear first, otherwise Luo Fuji would not have been a match for the others in Huangdao, and he would not have been able to meet them. Jun. Tianlin, the martial spirit demon suppressing sword, the powerful attack spirit king. Please give me some advice. Luo Fuji, a martial soul scale insect, a warrior soul sect with a strong attack style. Please give me some advice. After the two introduced themselves, Tianlin was slightly startled when he looked at Luo Fuji, who was possessed by the martial spirit. It turned out to be a scale insect. No wonder his Luo family and Ao family were incompatible. One of them was the martial spirit sunflower, and the other was a scale insect. The insect that likes to eat sunflowers the most is a ghost. If this relationship can be good point, there are several types of scale insects. Judging from the appearance of Luo Fuji's martial spirit, it should be a pointed scale insect, which can fly. Its well-developed forewings and hind wings, as well as the antennae on its head, are its strongest attack points. Tianlin got into a fighting stance, but did not release his martial spirit. He could now turn his energy into a sword, and he could still perform sword skills even without using his martial spirit. Chenzin's teachings to him back then had an effect, and this was all thanks to the young man. A solid foundation laid during the period. If you don't release your martial spirit, are you looking down on me? Damn it, even if you are some kind of sword master, I will let you know how powerful you are today. The number one soul skill is a head-on strike. Luo Fuji roared and charged towards Tianlin. The power of his first soul skill was no weaker than the third soul skill of ordinary soul masters. Yilingling flipped through the player information. This Luo Fuji's first soul skill is very special. It seems that it can only be used when the soul power is at its peak at the beginning of the game. In other words, it can only be used once. Oh, there is also such a soul skill, which is not bad. It's a pity that this trick is okay against ordinary people, but even us can easily deal with it, let alone Xiaoshan. Yu Xianheng said with a smile. Sure enough, it was as he said. Facing Luo Fuji, who was charging straight at him, Tianlin didn't take a step back. He directly grabbed his tentacles with both hands, preventing him from taking a single step forward. You actually blocked my first soul skill with just your physical strength. Luo Fuji was surprised, but before he could react, Tianlin suddenly pulled his tentacles, threw him to the ground, and angrily said, Luo Fuji, I heard that you bullied male tyrants in the Balik Kingdom. Women do all kinds of evil, and I will teach you a lesson today. Tianlin deliberately said it loudly, so that the whole audience could hear it. They all knew about Luo Fuji. Everyone was very surprised. Did Tianlin want to take this opportunity to stand up for the common people? Why are you talking about this? What does this have to do with our fighting spirit? Luo Fuji was furious. Fighting spirit? Well, what's the point of talking about these insignificant things? I want to wake you up. After saying that, Tianlin punched Luo Fuji in the face, causing his nose to bleed. You used to treat innocent people like this. How do you feel now that it's your turn? Can those bastards compete with me? What does their behavior have to do with me? The fourth soul skill, insect poison. Luo Fuji fought back. His fourth soul skill could summon flying insects all over the sky, which looked disgusting. The mountains and rivers are filled with blood. Tianlin swept his fingers, and the blood-red sword energy surged out in all directions, killing all the flying insects in just an instant. Hey, Xiaoshan is serious enough. He even used the 7 kills sword technique. Everyone in Huangdao below was surprised. When dealing with Xiangjia, they didn't see Tianlin use the 7 kills sword technique. As for Fuji, when did Tianlin become so jealous of evil? On the field, Tianlin rushed straight towards Luo Fuji, but instead of using his sword skills, he hit Luo Fuji hard to the flesh with his fists. I will pay you back for all the sins you have done to innocent people. Luo Fuji had no power to fight back. He wanted to open his mouth to admit defeat, but Tianlin, who moved faster, removed his chin directly and was unable to speak. No one noticed that every time Tianlin punched, his forehead would flicker slightly. A million-year soul skill that captures the heart. Tianlin's real purpose is exactly this. The soul skill of taking heart was originally just a move to temporarily control the opponent, but after Tianlin slightly improved it, it turned into a mental suggestion move. Every punch Tianlin hit on Luo Fuji had a mental impact. Now Luo Fuji's spirit was extremely weak. Tianlin punched him and transmitted the words that he could no longer bully the people until these words were completely imprinted in Luo Fuji's mind through telepathy and became a permanent telepathy. Then he used soul reading to modify Love's memory. In his memory, he was originally a passionate young man who was led astray by Albay of the Ao family and became a playboy that everyone hated. It wasn't until he met Tianlin today and Tianlin woke him up that he realized how much he had done before. Wrong, I need to change my mind in the future and be grateful to Tianlin at the same time. The two moves combined are like the same move from other gods. Although the method of use is complicated, it does not have the cooldown time of once every 10 years like other gods. It can be said that each has its own advantages and disadvantages. After everything was done, Tianlin knew that Luo Fuji's spirit had been completely imprinted by him, that he could no longer bully the people, and that he was grateful to Tianlin for waking him up. So he stopped attacking and restored his jaw. Luoqi, who regained his speech function, quickly said, I give up. Chapter 167 1 Where's 7? Albay instantly. Team leader. After hearing Luoqi admit defeat, the people from Berek Academy immediately rushed forward to help him up. Seeing the bruised and swollen Luoqi, some of them were so impulsive that they even prepared to fight in a group. Stop. Luo Fuji immediately stopped them, stepped forward and saluted Tianlin. Brother Jun, thank you for your wake-up call today. I, Luo Fuji, was really not a human being in the past, and I should correct myself in the future. His performance made everyone in Balak confused and asked anxiously, Captain, what's wrong with you? Luo Fuji sighed heavily. Oh, you don't understand. Every punch that Brother Jun hits on me makes me feel the pain of the innocent people who were bullied by me. That pain is like a people are walking on an extremely dark and endless corridor, and loneliness and despair accompany them. You don't know when you can finish the walk, let alone whether you can finish the walk, if at this time, someone took your hand, took you out of this corridor, and told you that, as long as you changed your mind, he would accompany you to a new and prosperous road. Wouldn't you be very heartwarming? This inexplicable performance of Luo Fuji made his loyal younger brother stunned. Is this the number one dude in their Balak kingdom? The captain who even the evil man like Albay is ashamed of? Captain, didn't you just take a beating, and you actually gained such a profound understanding of life? Are you afraid of pain? Luo Fuji suddenly became nervous at this time. Yu Xianheng and others happened to rush out. Although they did not think that these people could hurt Tianlin, they could not watch Tianlin being beaten. However, they did not expect that they did not see the beating, but they saw this. A sight that suddenly gave me goosebumps. Yu Xianheng pointed at Luo Fuji, looked at Tianlin, and said blankly, did you make him look like this? It is a good thing to change one's mind, but why does it also lead to a change of gender? It's definitely not me. Tianlin quickly denied it. He would never admit it. He remembered that when he attacked, he didn't hit Luo Fuji's vitals. Could it be because this eternal mind-taking method was used for the first time? Relationship. What went wrong? But forget it. As long as the important part remains unchanged, the Luo family's power in the Balak kingdom is still greater than that of the Ao family. Although the Qibao Glazed Sect has enmity with the Ao family, it has no quarrel with the Luo family. At this time, Luo Fuji has become a good person because of himself. I'm afraid that he will inevitably stand up for innocent people and cause trouble with the Ao family, who also likes to bully the weak. Luo Fuji is the only heir of the Luo family. He can definitely speak on behalf of the Luo family. The original two evils of Balak have become one good and one evil. It is interesting to think about it. If nothing else, at least the lives of the people of Balak Kingdom will be better. Much better after the establishment of Wuhandian. It may not be that simple to quickly take over the Balak Kingdom through the Ao family. Because of Luo Fuji's stop, the two sides did not get into trouble. The game continued. The next person to appear was the Vice Captain Albay. When passing by Albay, Luo Fuji suddenly said, "Albay, please pay attention to me in the future. I'm the son of the military and political minister of the Balak Kingdom. I have the obligation to protect the people. Don't let me see you doing evil again. Be careful, I'm rude to you." Albay thought that Luo Fuji must have taken the wrong medicine. In terms of evil, in the Balak Kingdom, Luo Fuji dared to be the second. Who dared to be the first? Inexplicable. Albay didn't bother to pay attention to him and went straight to the soul fighting stage. He knew that he was no match for Tianlin, but based on the deep hatred between the Ao family and the Qibao Glazed Sect, he could never bow his head and admit defeat in front of Tianlin, let alone Aldo, whose ears were chopped off by Tianlin, was his biological brother. The sunflower is blooming. Albay opened his palms coquettishly, and a golden sunflower appeared, surrounded by 4 soul rings, 1 white, 1 yellow, and 2 purple. I really can't understand how the heir to a big family can have a 10-year soul ring. The number 1 soul skill is famous for blooming flowers. Albay's first soul skill is a restricted type. Many sunflowers similar to his martial soul grow on the ground and spread pollen. These pollen have the effect of slowing down. But Tianlin had eaten the fairy grass, and the sunflower had too little suppressive power on him. He felt that his speed had decreased by less than 1%. What meaning did this soul skill have to him? HMPH, you can't move anymore. Take the move. The third soul skill, Sun Surge. Albay smiled coldly, and the sunflower concentrated the power of sunlight and released a dazzling light wave. The power of this light wave is quite acceptable. As the third soul skill, it is almost the same as Daemubei's second soul skill, White Tiger Fierce Light Wave, HMPH. Tianlin slapped his hand, and the light wave was directly knocked out of the field. Then, Tianlin dodged and came to Albay. This was not a soul bone teleportation, but the purest speed that was improved using shush and body skills. I'm sorry, Albay, your first soul skill, it seems to be completely useless to me, and I don't have that much patience with you. After saying that, Tianlin hit Albay on the back of the neck with a knife. Albay staggered forward a few steps, fell to the ground with a plop, and fell unconscious. This is the end. After all, Albay is a soul sect, but he can't even force Tianlin's martial soul out. Oscar exclaimed. Daemubei also had a heavy expression that Albay's third soul skill was powerful enough to match my fierce light wave, but it was shot away by Jun Tianlin with just his palm. I'm afraid even if I were to use it, the outcome would be the same. Not much better than that. Albay, this person on the field, is 10 times stronger than I imagined. The master whispered in his heart. He has now placed the threat of Tianlin above the golden generation of Wuhan Palace. There is only one way to defeat him. The master looked at Ningrangrang. To be honest, he didn't really want to teach Ningrangrang his unique skills of pressing the bottom of the box. But if he didn't teach him, they would have no clue when facing Tianlin. Odds the game was still going on. After the defeat of the 2 soul sects, Luo Fuji and Albay, only 5 soul sects were left in the Balak team. They were even more defenseless against Tianlin, and were easily knocked out of the field. At the end of the game, Team Huangdao won. Tianlin's player is amazing. He accomplished the feat of 1 through 7 at a time. The referee announced excitedly. Tianlin walked off the stage. Salas leaned on his chair and looked at the figure with fear. In fact, against a Balak Academy, any one of them from the golden generation of Wuhan Palace could achieve 1-2-1 where and 7-2-7, but they would never be able to do it like Tianlin. Walking around like that, you don't even use your martial spirit point. He had to admit that Tianlin's power was already superior to anyone in the golden generation. Fortunately, he was only one person, and the golden generation consisted of 3 people. In terms of winning chances, their Wuhandian academy was better. As for Guran, Huang Dao's other Soul King, although he is good, he is actually not as good as the ones above, and his soul power is not very stable. He most likely became the Soul King through trickery. In a real fight, he is not an opponent of the golden generation. Chapter 168 The Rotten Daimyo Bei and the Strong ZHU Zuking. The promotion schedule is very fast, with each match being a one-on-one match, and the winner will be decided in a short time point a few days later. The old and powerful teams that currently maintain a perfect record of victory are Huang Dao, Kamikaze, and Shianshu Point. In addition, there is a botanical college. The overall strength of this college is not too strong, but they are quite special. All control system soul masters. He doesn't have any gorgeous attack methods, but he can control his opponents, so that no matter how powerful the attack system is, he can't exert any force. No matter how powerful the soul master is, it's difficult for him to withstand such battles continuously. As a result, he was defeated in front of this group of girls. Today, Huang Dao's opponents are them. The game was just after the battle between Shrek and the Academy of Alien Beasts. As the name of the Academy of Alien Beasts suggests, most of their teams are beast spirit masters. Meng Yiren came from this academy before, but because she is a weapon spirit, I felt a little out of tune with this college, so I decided to drop out so decisively. The member of the Alien Beast Academy seemed to think she was a traitor, and was particularly aggressive in dealing with Shrek. Different from the Botanical Academy, the Alien Beast Academy is all about attack or defense. Tang San, who is in the control department, was able to restrain him. Originally, when Tang San came on the scene, he would definitely be able to kill several of them in a row, but Tianlin strangely discovered that there were few in Shrek's team. There were 2 important guys. Not only Tang San was not here, but Oscar was also not here. Tianlin asked Zhu Xianheng, do you know where Tang San and Oscar went? And they didn't even participate in the promotion competition. They seem to have gone out with the college teacher Zhao Wuji a few days ago. Oh, by the way, there was also a soul saint arranged by your Qibao Glazed Sect. He has not come back during this time. Yu Xianheng said. Hearing this, Tianlin was thoughtful. There was only one possibility, that the promotion match suddenly disappeared, or that the 2 people who were originally at level 39 disappeared together. It seems that because of the continuous battles, Oscar and Tang San have both broken through level 40. Tianlin judged that this was the only thing he could think of. Teams would not be eliminated in the promotion round, so losing a few games would not be a problem. Well, why not take advantage of this period to help Tang San and Oscar hunt for good soul rings, so that they can fully adapt to the soul sect realm before the finals. Uncle Ning also sent a soul saint to follow them. He must have asked him to help Oscar hunt for some kind of soul ring. I can be sure that it won't be an amplification one day. New Bay wins. At this moment, the referee below announced Shrek already had a huge advantage. Daimyo Bei penetrated 3, and even if Tang San wasn't around, with the strength of the Alien Beast Academy, it would be difficult to get any benefit from them. After all, Meng, who was only level 37 in the original work, was still able to become the vice captain. This shows that the strength of this college is really not that good. The reason why they passed the preliminaries is just because their division is not as strong as the 5-element college. Just an enemy point. After fighting 3 people in a row, Daimyo Bei began to pant violently, and lost the key Rang Shanju. His soul power and physical strength were far inferior to those in the original work, let alone his indestructible body. It was thanks to him that he was able to fight against 3 people. The excellence of Wuhan. The evil-eyed white tiger is also one of the few martial spirits among the many beasts that can rival the blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex. In the 4th game, the captain of the Alien Beast Academy comes on stage. He is also the only soul sect in their academy. He has a 40 level martial spirit, a powerful beast spirit, and a very powerful attacking beast spirit. Although it was not as good as the white tiger, it was not much worse. In Daimyo Bei's current state, he was no match for him. He could not even maintain the White Tiger's Vajra transformation, and was quickly defeated. The next person to appear was ZHU Zuking, the agility and attack type soul master. The speed of the powerful bull was not outstanding. ZHU Zuking originally wanted to win with agility in guerrilla warfare, but unfortunately, her soul power was far inferior to that of the captain of the Alien Beast Academy, so she could not win quickly. After all, ZHU Zuking's attack methods were adapted to the opponent. The opponent immediately launched a counter-attack. The captain of the Alien Beast Academy first flashed his third soul ring, and after blocking ZHU Zuking's surprise attack, he sprinkled her with a layer of red light. Then, she used her strongest fourth soul skill to attack ZHU Zuking fiercely. Although ZHU Zuking quickly retreated, she seemed to be locked. No matter where she escaped, she was chased by this person. This third soul skill seems to be a locked soul skill. Under this soul skill, the attack of the captain of the Alien Beast Academy will not stop until it hits ZHU Zuking. The winner is already decided. Tianlin's side point, when his strength is exhausted, continuous rapid running consumes much more energy than usual. Moreover, in terms of physical strength, ZHU Zuking cannot compare with the attack type soul masters who have reached the soul sect. In the end, ZHU Zuking, whose speed was gradually weakening, was rushed by the captain. It flew directly to the sidelines. Tianlin's 5 senses were astonishing, and he seemed to hear a clicking sound. The ribs are broken. I'm afraid the internal organs are also damaged. It was such a brutal attack. In fact, this can't be blamed on the man from the Beast Academy. His third soul skill is not only as simple as locking it, but also makes him fall into a state of madness. This is just like a bison going crazy when seeing the color red. He can't control himself at all. Zuking, Ningrangrang on the sidelines saw this, and ran over anxiously to help her up. Although their relationship was not as good as the original, it was not bad. As a teammate, Ningrangrang still cared about her. Ahem. ZHU Zuking, who had just been helped up, coughed up another mouthful of blood. If she didn't get good treatment for such an injury, she might not be able to play in the finals. Tianlin glanced at Dame Yubei. Although his expression was a little worried, his body remained motionless. He frowned and said, "This guy, isn't ZHU Zuking his fiancé?" He is completely unmoved. Of course he doesn't care. According to the information I collected, when Dame Yubei was in Xiandao City, as long as there was no Shrek game, he would stay in Mixiang Courtyard and call several people at a time. But as for Happy, who would care about him? Fiancé, Oslo explained. Mixiangyuan is the most luxurious brothel in Xiandao City, but it is far from comparable to the Gowlin place in Soto City. After all, it is for high-ranking officials. It is no wonder that Dame Yubei lingers here. Kinming looked at Oslo and shook his head helplessly. It was the biggest mistake he made to let this guy go with Xianhang to collect team intelligence. What Xianhang brought back was called intelligence, and what this guy brought back was called gossip. Du Guyan was furious when he heard this. What a scumbag. His fiancé is right next to him, but he openly goes to that place to have fun. If it was Xianhang, I would have turned him into thick water. Xianhang was suddenly frightened and broke out in a cold sweat. He hid behind Tianlin and shivered. In this world, the only person Di Guan would never attack was Tianlin. Only behind him could he feel a sense of security. Tianlin glanced at Tianheng with disdain. You have never been there. Why are you afraid of becoming such a virtuous person? This Dame Yubei is completely ruined. Tianlin sighed. It seems that, because there is no fairy grass, he thinks that he can't beat Davos no matter what. Dame Yubei has completely given up, and now he just wants to enjoy as much as you can until the day of death. However, Tianlin felt that ZHU Zuking did not give up. During the battle, even if her opponent was stronger than her, she did not flinch at all. Her determined eyes were moving. She's a good girl. What a pity. Chapter 169 Battle against the Botanical Academy. Oslo's footwork. After ZHU Zuking's defeat, Shrek sent Mahanjan. Although the captain of the Alien Beast Academy defeated Dame Yubei and ZHU Zuking in a row, he didn't have much soul power left, and was easily defeated by him. In the end, there were only 3 soul lords left. They were no match for the Fire Phoenix who had reached the soul sect. They were basically all fire lords. Shrek easily won the victory. Next, it was their turn to fight against the Botanical Academy in a royal battle point. At this moment, Ning Rangrang ran over anxiously. Brother Jian, help. Seeing her like this, Tianlin naturally knew the purpose of her coming and comforted her softly. It's okay, Rangrang. Then he looked at Qilingling and said, senior sister, can you please take action to save the little kitten just now? Otherwise, she may not be able to participate in the finals. Yi. Lingling nodded coldly and followed Ning Rangrang to Shrek. With Jiux and Haitang taking action, there shouldn't be any big problem point anyway. The promotion round is a duel, and it is not Yilingling's turn to take action, so her temporary absence will have no impact at all. Point at the beginning of the game, the Botanical College sent out a soul sect, Wuhan Vine, with level 41 control system in the first round, named Muan Vine. As I guessed, the control soul sect took the lead and wanted to get off to a good start, right? Kinming smiled slightly. Osluo, go ahead. It's time for you to show off. Good. Class. Look at me. Oslo jumped and somersaulted into the battlefield. Everyone saw only a black shadow, and the speed of the agility attack system Soul Master was fully revealed. Haha, the agility and attack system. Don't you know that the agility and attack system is the most restrained by the control system? Huang Dao, that is, just because of his high level, his combat ability is no more than this. Mu Yunteng said with a confident smile. Point. No matter who loses, they will not lose. Even if their botanical college loses today, they will never be beaten easily like other colleges. They can at least win a few victories. Their confidence lies in the fact that they can win a duel in the control department. Form restraint on other departments. Come here if you have the ability. Let me know if your vines can tie you up. After saying that, Oslo quickly rushed towards Muandeng. Compared with ZHU's Yuking just now, his speed was another level faster. The first soul skill, tight binding. Dust Cloud Vine's first soul skill is very similar to Tang San's blue silver grass entanglement, but her vines are tougher than the unawakened blue silver grass. It would be difficult for an attack type soul master to use his speed point, but this premise is just as Oslo said, it must be tied up. Point. Oslo was not only fast, but the steps under his feet were also incomparably wonderful. With several incredible transformations, the vines of Muan Vine were completely thrown away. Point. This step has quite the flavor of Xianlin Zuxan's moon watching step, but it is a bit more heroic. It's so weird. What kind of movement is this? People from the Botanical College exclaimed. You know, for their control department to show their strength, the most important thing is to limit their opponents. But Oslo is so fast, coupled with such footwork, let alone restrictions, they don't know where to use their strength. Point. In other words, not only were they unable to restrain Oslo, but they were restrained by him. In turn. Point. As for the origin of this footwork, it has something to do with Xianlin, but mainly it is Oslo himself. Point. Although Xianlin regards Oslo as a friend, Oslo is not from his own sect after all. He will not hand over Shushan's special skills to outsiders at will. This footwork was invented by Oslo himself. Point. Yufeng can create his own single combo skills. How can he? Oslo, stand still. Point. For a while, Oslo watched the battle between Xianlin and Xianheng, as if he was possessed. Xianlin's drunken fairy moonwalk made his body shape change unpredictably, while Xianheng's ancestral footwork made him move widely combined. Suddenly one day, after watching the battle between the two, Oslo shouted loudly, I understand. Then he roared and left. For the next 7 days, they did not see Oslo. It was not until the 7th day that the embarrassed Oslo returned to the team. Only then did everyone learn that he had been there for the past few days. After practicing his footwork on the most dangerous mountainside, he succeeded. Point. He named this new set of footwork the Dragon Soaring Leopard Transformation, referring to the force generating method of the blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family. It moves and leaps very fast. It is called Dragon Soaring. It refers to the drunken immortal moon watching step of Xianlin. The movement method is strange and easy to change. Is a leopard transformation. This is Oslo's self-created soul skill. Damn it. 1 second this person was still on the left side, but the next second, I can feel his breath from 3 directions, front, back and right. What should I do? Mu Yunteng anxiously moved around, not knowing what to do. I don't know where to tie my vines. This Classmate, it's not good to be distracted during the battle. At this moment, Oslo had already arrived in front of Mu Yunteng. Oops, I'm getting close. The teacher from the botany college felt nervous. The control department was getting close, but this was the worst possible situation. The fourth soul skill, Vine Fortress. Mu Yunteng is not an ordinary person. To be able to practice Soul Sect at this age, she is very smart and uses the skills originally used to limit her opponents. To protect herself, tough vines wrapped around Mu Yunteng's body. Oslo smiled and said, not bad, using the control soul skill as a defense soul skill. It's very smart, but it's still too young. The fourth soul skill, Ghost Leopard's Thousand Split Claws. Oslo used his fourth most powerful soul skill, Ghost Leopard's Thousand Split Claws. The focus of this move was on two words, thousand and split. As the name suggests, thousand fingers refers to attack speed, wielding countless claw strikes in an instant, while split means breaking defense. Every claw of Oslo will lower the opponent's defense. Within a second, the Vine Fortress used by Dusk Cloud Vine to defend was hit by countless claws. At this time, the originally tough vines were as brittle as paper. It fell and was easily broken through by Oslo. In the end, Mu Yunteng was grabbed by the neck and lifted up by Oslo, and the victory was decided. We admit defeat in this game. The teacher from the botany college shouted quickly, worried that Mu Yunteng would be injured. Hearing this, Oslo put down Mu Vine. He had no intention of hurting anyone. Mu Yunteng walked off the field with her head lowered. The miserable defeat with no results had completely made her lose the arrogance she had before the start of the game. The Botanical Academy seemed to have put their other two Soul Masters at the end. After that, the 4 consecutive Soul Masters were only Soul Masters. They were no match for Oslo. Even with the footwork of Soaring Dragon and Leopard transformation, they could not even fight against Aoluo. Silo can't even cause effective damage. It didn't take long for Oslo to successfully penetrate 5. Not bad, senior Oslo. Tianlin praised. 5. Already. As expected of the Imperial fighter team. I didn't expect that Oslo, a sensitive attack type soul master who usually just works hard, would have such strength. Everyone in the stands whispered, as expected. Everyone in Huangdao is not simple. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 170. Zhu Zuking strives to survive Tianlin's promise. Where is this? In Shrek's lounge, Zhu Zuking slowly opened his eyes under Yilingling's treatment. Jiuxin Haitang is indeed the best healing spirit in the world. With Yilingling's help, most of the injuries that originally took several months to heal were healed in less than an hour. Zuking, you're finally awake. It's great. This is the lounge. Our game is over. Don't worry, we won. Ningrangrang breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that Zhu Zuking was getting better. Did you win? But it was the team that won, and I lost. Zhu Zuking has a stubborn personality. She only remembers that she lost to the captain of the Alien Beast Academy without defeating any of her opponents. In fact, it was a normal thing for a Soul Master to lose to a Soul Master. No one would blame her, but she still blamed herself. Zuking, don't think so much. The most important thing for you now is to rest. Ningrangrang comforted softly. Has he been here? Zhu Zuking suddenly looked at Ningrangrang expectantly. Of course Ningrangrang knew who Zhu Zuking was talking about and couldn't help but said angrily, I just came here for a moment and left immediately when I saw Sister Lingling was already treating you. It was too much. You are his fiancé. When Zhu Zuking heard this, he closed his eyes in disappointment. In fact, at the beginning, Daimyo Bei also tried to please Zhu Zuking, but Zhu Zuking always treated him without pretense. Daimyo Bei is a person who has little patience and cannot make up his mind. He will only do what is possible. The original work is because he got the fairy grass and a group of strong teammates, which gave him hope. I will change my past mistakes, but the current situation is that he has no hope of defeating Davos anyway. Since ZHU Zuking ignores him, he will simply lie down and continue to live his previous free and easy life. In fact, ZHU Zuking didn't really miss him in her heart, otherwise, she wouldn't have risked her life to come to Xiandao from Xingluo. She was more resentful, just like hating that iron cannot become steel. But Damu Bei didn't understand it at all, which caused the conflict between the two to become deeper and deeper. Even now, the two of them can't even use the martial soul fusion skill. Leave him, that person is not worthy of you. Yi Lingling's cold voice sounded. Even a calm girl like her was very unhappy with what Damu Bei had done. ZHU Zuking shook his head, but I can only rely on him. You want to live. I don't want to die. Can I help you? Thank you, but this is my own life. Ning. Rang Rang looked at the two people talking. Although she knew that these two people were very cold, your conversation was too concise. ZHU Zuking stopped talking and could only see tears in the corners of her eyes after the treatment. Ning Rang Rang continued to stay and take care of her, while Yi Lingling went out and returned to where Huang Dao was. The duel on the field at this time was Oslo vs Botanical Academy Captain Yaozi, a level 44 soul sect with the martial Spirit Red Flame Thorn. Originally, it would not be a problem for Oslo to defeat her, but he had already fought 5 times in a row before, and his martial spirit Ghost Leopard did not have absolute restraint on the Botanical Academy, like Mahanjan's Fire Phoenix. He only relied on his physical skills to prevent and control her regardless of soul power, physical strength or mental power. Oslo has already consumed more than 7 levels at this time, and the situation on the field is very unfavorable to him. The 4th soul skill, Rain of Thorns. Yaozi's 4th soul skill is a large-scale attack skill point. After scattering the seeds on the ground, countless thorns rose into the sky. Even if Oslo used the leaping method in the dragon and leopard transformation, he could not escape the attack range of the thorns, and he was finally defeated with 1 against 5. Oslo has done very well. Then Yufeng, let's end the battle. Qin Ming ordered. Yufeng nodded, without saying a word, spread his wings, and flew onto the soul fighting platform. Although Yaozi defeated Oslo, it was definitely not easy. Thorns Restraint, Thorns City, and Thorns Rain use 3 souls in a row. Skill. Her soul power consumption is also very intense. Yufeng couldn't leave her a chance to rest at this time. The 3rd soul skill, the Wind of Darkness. Yufeng, who was a man of few words, came up with an attack that directly hit his soul. Wind is like water. As long as there is a gap, it can penetrate everywhere. The defense of the City of Thorns cannot stop the invasion of the Wind of Darkness. Although Yaozi's body was not harmed, her spirit was extremely painful, and she finally had to admit defeat. As for the last student of the Botanical Academy, her martial soul is just an ordinary plant, and does not have the fire resistance properties like Yaozi. After taking the wind and fiery skills, Yufeng, who can blow out the scorching wind, was completely restrained. There is no doubt about defeat. Huang Dao defeated the entire Botanical Academy team with only 2 agility attack system soul masters. They were not beaten 7 times like the Berek Academy. This was probably their last loss of dignity. Okay, let's go back. This was a good fight. Let's go back and reward the 2 seniors. Tianlin said with a smile. At this moment, Yi Lingling came back and looked at Tianlin and Yu Xianheng, who were hesitant to speak. Senior. Sister, based on our relationship, is there anything we can't say? Seeing her appearance, Tianlin asked directly. Anyway, in Tianlin's heart, Yi Lingling was also a member of their Qibao Glazed Sect, so he had nothing to say. Don't speak bluntly. That's right. Lingling, is someone bullying you? Tell me and I'll let him have a taste of the power of the blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex. You. Xianheng said fiercely, as Yi Lingling is the only non-combat support member of the team. He is usually the most protected, and his status as the group's favorite is almost the same as Xianlin. No one bullied me. It's just that I just went to treat ZHU Zuking and felt that she was really pitiful. I also heard a little bit about her family. It's too cruel for a girl like her. Can you guys help her? Yi Lingling looked at the 2 of them and asked. Yi Lingling used Jiuxin Haitang as her martial spirit and saved countless people. This also developed her overly kind character, making her a typical character with a cold face and a warm heart. However, the Xingluo Empire is powerful and its military power far exceeds that of Xiandao. Against such a behemoth, Yi Lingling is completely powerless. Here, only these two people from the second and third largest sects in the world may be able to help ZHU Zuking. When Yu Xianheng heard this, he hesitated. In fact, he had already recognized the identities of Damu Bei and ZHU Zuking when he saw their martial spirits. This was no joke. His Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus family is powerful, but it cannot compare with an entire empire. Not to mention anything else, the current Star Luo Emperor and White Tiger Douluo are not much less powerful than his grandfather Yu Yuansen. It would be unwise to offend crossing Luo for ZHU Zuking. Even if Yi Lingling asked, he would never agree to it. The same goes for Tianlin. Unless he is promoted to the title ban, he will have the confidence to face everything alone. He is still too young now. I'm sorry, it's me who has made things difficult for you. Looking at the two people who didn't reply, Yi Lingling also knew that his request was too much. They are not free soul masters and have a lot on their shoulders. It is impossible for ZHU Zuking to put the sect in crisis. Tianlin suddenly felt guilty. Since Damu Bei had chosen to die, he did not deserve sympathy. But for the girl who had always worked hard to survive, Tianlin robbed her of the fairy grass, which was equivalent to depriving her of the hope of life. Wait, senior sister, I promise you, I will find a way to save ZHU Zuking's life. Tianlin suddenly stopped Yi Lingling. This is his responsibility. He has no interest in ZHU Zuking. Her qualifications are the same after losing the fairy grass. It's just that he doesn't want to see the situation where he doesn't kill Boren, but Boren dies because of him. If Damu Bei and ZHU Zuking persisted like that to the end, he would still not hesitate to help them within the scope of his ability. Unfortunately, for the current Damu Bei, he had no idea of helping him. He would not give up his own people. There is no need for others to care. ZHU Zuking is not the heroine. For those readers who like kittens, I can only say sorry. My writing power is limited. Just 2 of them are my limit. But without the fairy grass, ZHU Zuking is really pitiful. From the original work look, she has been working very hard to survive. Just think that the author's mother's heart is overflowing and save her. As for Damu Bei, a person who abandoned his fiancée and fled to Soto City to enjoy himself, I don't like it, so he will fend for himself. Chapter 171 Battle of Brothers Yu Xianheng vs Yu Xiangxin. The 14th day of the promotion round. Most of the battle matches have been completed. In every match, Huang Dao has never played more than 2 players. Xianheng even came out like Tianlin. One of them defeated 7 at a time. Faced with such an imperial fight, in the last few days of the game, the new kamikazes, Shrek and Xianshu, who met one after another, made the same choice, which was to avoid the battle point, because it was impossible for them to win Huang Dao in a one-on-one fight. Not to mention that, if they were defeated and injured, a lot of soul power would be consumed, which would also have an impact on the subsequent games. So Huang Dao came to the final showdown unimpeded. Their opponents did not escape today. Firstly, this was already the last round of the promotion tournament. Secondly, the opposite captain had a reason that he could not escape. Cousin Yu Xianheng looked at his brother opposite, feeling a little sad. He and this brother have been in a competitive relationship since childhood. Of course, it is not a life and death struggle like the Day brothers, but a healthy competition for common progress. The next head of the Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family must be born from the 2 of them. Originally, it might take a long time for them to decide the winner, but with the appearance of Tianlin, everything changed. After taking the fairy grass, Xianheng's aptitude was far beyond that of Yu Xiangxin. No matter how hard Yu Xiangxin practiced, she could no longer catch up with him. Looking at her younger brother walking further and further away, Yu Xiangxin felt both happy and unwilling. Teacher, can you leave this game to me? It's time for a battle between my cousin and I. We have both been waiting for this battle for a long time. Xianheng looked at Qinming pleadingly. Qinming nodded. Go, Xianheng. I believe that you are the strongest Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus Rex. Of course. Yu Xianheng smiled knowingly and strode onto the soul fighting stage point at this time. The team sent by Thunder Academy was also Yu Xiangxin. These two brothers knew each other so well that they both guessed that when their two teams met, the other team would definitely choose to appear first point in this way. Only in the most complete state can the outcome be determined fairly and fairly. Unexpectedly, the Royal Dao team and the Thunder Academy team actually sent out their respective captains as soon as they came up. This is a civil war in the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family. When the two dragons meet, who will win or lose? Let us wait and see, the host said passionately, explaining. Yu Xianheng, level 49 attack type fighting spirit sect. Yu Xiangxin, level 45 attack type fighting spirit sect. The two of them were possessed by martial souls and were ready for battle. Due to Xianheng's stimulation, the Jade Xiangxin was stronger than the original, from level 43 to level 45. It seemed that it had gone through quite arduous training. Xianheng, let's decide the outcome in one battle, just you and me. Yu Xian thought. This was what he had thought about for a long time. Only by letting Yu Xianheng bear the hope of the team would he completely use all kinds of methods on himself. Go all out. This is the responsibility of the captain point. When Yu Xianheng heard this, he looked back at his teammates. Led by Tianlin, everyone nodded to him. Thunder Academy can entrust everything to Yu Xiangxin, don't they? Huang Dao have the courage. Seeing this, Yu Xianheng smiled slightly, turned around and said, okay, come on, brother, transform into a dragon. That's how it should be. Dragon transformation. Yu Xiangxin also smiled with satisfaction. Then the two of them completed the dragon transformation at the same time. They both valued this game very much and had no intention of holding back. However, the parts of their dragon transformations are different. Yu Xianheng's hands and feet, while Yu Xiangxin's hands and dragon's right wing. The battle between the two sides finally started. Yu Xiangxin gave a sharp shout and jumped into the air. Because of the dragon wings, his jumping power and ability to stay in the air were much stronger than Xianheng's, so a diving attack from top to bottom was his most effective. Strong fighting style. Both of them are blue electric Tyrannosaurus, so naturally they are both strong attacks within strong attacks. Their blood is filled with aggressive blood. Attack is the best defense, so Yu Xianheng will not back down. The blue electric dragon claws burst out at the same time, forcibly resisting Yu Xiangxin's attack. Even if Yu Xiangxin relied on the force of falling, she could not take any advantage in Xianheng's hands. This was all due to the level difference of 4 levels. Drink. Yu Xianheng used his arms to push Yu Xiangxin out. Yu Xiangxin spread her dragon wings in the sky, keeping her body balanced. Thunder falls. A bolt of lightning appeared out of thin air and fell towards Yu Xianheng. The first soul skill, Thunder Dragon Claw. Xianheng used the first soul skill, directly tearing Luo apart. Thunder. The howling thunder covered Yu Xiangxin overwhelmingly. Yu Xiangxin moved his hands and created a barrier in front of him. Light control. Under this blow, nearly half of the 100-meter diameter field was scorched black, but Yu Xiangxin was intact under this light shield. The fourth soul skill, Blue Lightning Dragon Disease. The two of them activated the fourth soul skill at the same time. Although the first 3 soul skills were somewhat different, in this fourth soul skill, the two of them came to the same goal through different paths. The two huge blue electric dragons immediately struggled together. In the end, they both died in a head-on collision. Each of them was knocked back by the huge force point after several consecutive collisions. Both sides were evenly matched. However, Yu Xianheng, who has a deeper soul power, obviously looks more calm. Yu Xiangxin gasped, if this continues, I won't be able to defeat Xianheng. I have to decide the outcome with one move. After making up her mind, Yu Xiangxin flew up. Dragon Wing Dragon Transformation Technique. Dragon's Wrath. Its cousin's Dragon's Wrath. It can increase one's attack power and thunder power by 100%, but it consumes a lot of money. It seems that cousin is preparing for the last move. Xianheng did not dare to be careless, and the purple soul ring lit up. The third soul skill, the Fury of Thunder. His Third soul skill is also a strengthening skill, which increases the attack power by 100% and the soul power by 50%, but it will make the user go berserk and consume his physical strength very quickly. Xianheng is also preparing to decide the outcome with the next attack. Yu Xiangxin looked down at Yu Xianheng and said seriously, Xianheng, this move is my last and strongest move. Don't be careless. The wind and rain come, the clouds cover the sun, the dragon swims in the sky, and the jade thunder thunders. With every word Yu Xiangxin uttered, his aura would rise a bit, and endless thunder and lightning began to converge on him. The next blow would be very terrifying. This power is probably stronger than all the 36 consecutive slashes of my Gale Demon Wolf combined. I didn't expect that guy Yu Xiangxin to hide such a big move quietly. Feng Zhioshan frowned. You must know that before. He has always been the strongest among the younger generation of 5 Element Academy, but looking at Yu Xiangxin's performance today, I'm afraid that he may not win Yu Xiangxin in a real fight, unless he completely beats him before he uses this move to defeat. Cousin, is this the gift you carefully prepared for me? In this case, I have to give you a considerable gift in return. Yu Xianheng's eyes were like lightning, and the powerful electricity also began to condense. It seems that he also retains a killing move. Chapter 172 Dragon's Reverse Scale. Xianheng, he's going to use that move. Du Guyan exclaimed. In the past few years, Yu Xianheng has also created a set of soul skills, but they have not been completely perfected. Once used, it will cause a catastrophe. It's okay, Sister Yanzi. The reason why Xianheng dares to use it is because we are all here. He knows that even if he falls into madness, we can stop him without hurting anyone. Today, let him have fun. Let's fight. Tianlin smiled at Du Guyan. Zhioshan, please, you must stop me later. Xianheng glanced at Tianlin, and he saw encouragement in Tianlin's eyes. In this case, he no longer hesitated. Long, reverse scale, in the spirit fighting arena, the shadow of Yu Xianheng's blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex became more and more solid. His eyes were blood red, and he seemed to have lost consciousness. The so-called dragon has reverse scales, which will kill anyone who touches it. This move is an enhanced version of Yu Xianheng's soul skill that he created, based on his third soul skill. At the cost of losing all reason and emotion, his combat power will be extremely violent in a short period of time. Increased several times now, he only has one thought in his mind, which is to tear the opponent in front of him into pieces. He no longer cares whether the person in front of him is his cousin. Yu Xianheng roared and rushed towards Yu Xiangxin, so fast that no one had time to react. Yu Xiangxin's soul skill was ready to be completed at this time, and the extremely terrifying thunder and lightning fell from the sky and rushed towards Yu Xianheng. The battle between these two brothers was truly merciless. However, this is the style of the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus family. They actually have no intention of killing each other, but since they have become opponents, they must fight with all their strength. They are the strongest family in the entire continent. Yu Xiangxin's thunder struck Yu Xianheng several times in succession, but at this time Xianheng seemed to have completely lost his sense of pain and continued to move forward despite the thunder and lightning. Such a terrifying physical strength. If Yu Xiangxin's thunder struck me, I would probably be wiped out. But Yu Xianheng is fine at all. Even though they both have thunder attributes, this body is a bit too strong. Feng Zhioshan sighed. You actually broke through my special move so easily. Could it be that this is the indestructible body developed by the strange velvet and sky green chrysanthemum that Xianheng told me about? Yu Xiangxin was horrified at first, then smiled bitterly. It seems that I lost today. Yu Xiangxin's strongest trick failed to win, so he had to give up. But at this time, Yu Xianheng, no matter whether his opponent had admitted defeat or not, his attacks would not stop as long as his opponent was still alive. Kill. Xianheng continued to rush towards Yu Xiangxin, and his murderous claw immediately scratched 3 blood marks on Yu Xiangxin's chest. Fortunately, Yu Xiangxin reacted quickly and retreated to avoid some of the attacks. Otherwise, his wounds would have been so deep that he could see the bones in the reverse scale state. Yu Xianheng's attack, defense and speed have been greatly improved. At this time, Yu Xiangxin can't compete with him at all. Ugh. Yu Xiangxin groaned, half kneeling on the ground. The claw just now really made him feel uncomfortable. But at this moment, Yu Xianheng's fourth soul ring was shining, and he actually wanted to use the blow lightning divine dragon disease while going berserk. This was to kill Yu Xiangxin. Upon seeing this, Du Rong immediately prepared to take action to stop Xianheng, but a figure was one step ahead of him. It was Tianlin, who was always ready. At the critical moment, he stood in front of Yu Xiangxin. First, he used his magic sword to deflect all the power of the blue lightning dragon, and then gathered huge soul power on his fist. Xianheng, you have won. Calm down. A turbulent punch hit Yu Xianheng's abdomen, and the strong force immediately made him faint. Thank you. Yu Xianheng, who regained consciousness before completely comatose, spat out the last two words. Have a good rest, Captain. Tianlin said softly, then turned to look at Yu Xiangxin. Brother Xiangxin, the winner of this game has been decided. Yes, according to the agreement, my Thunder College lost this match. Yu Xiangxin admitted defeat frankly. Also, thank you for your life-saving grace, Brother Jun. Tianlin smiled and said, no problem, it's just a little effort. At this point, the Royal Dao team won the first place in the promotion competition with a record of 14 victories. Next, they will enter the finals to face Wuhandian Academy in the Golden Generation. The Yu Xianheng in that state just now would probably not even dare to hit a Soul King above level 55, but this sword master can knock him out with one punch. How much strength has he shown so far? Salus frowned. Whenever he thought he had figured out Tianlin's bottom line, Tianlin would always surprise him by showing more powerful power. Like a bottomless pit. Tianlin carried Yu Xianheng back to the Imperial fighting team. He was not seriously injured, but his soul power was consumed a lot. He quickly woke up under Yilingling's treatment. At this time, he should have gone back to rest, but now, they still have one game to watch. There are 7 games in the promotion round, and it was just the 6th game. The last game of the last round is New Kamikaze Academy vs. Shilake College. Tianlin, who was originally not interested in this battle, changed his mind when he saw the two people on the stage. On one side was Feng Xiaoshan, the strongest person in Shenfeng Academy, and on the other side was the protagonist of the original work, Tang Sun. He has returned after hunting for the 4th soul ring in the past few days. He looks very confident after being promoted to the Soul Sect. However, his 4th soul ring is not a 10,000-year soul ring like the original. It is just an ordinary 1,000-year soul ring. Looking at the color depth, it doesn't even exceed the limit of 5,000 years. It's probably around 4,000 years. The reason why Tianlin is interested in this game is because in the original book, Tang Sun was forced to use the clear sky hammer in this game. At this time, Tang Sun's strength was far inferior to that in the original work. If he wanted to win from Feng Xiaoshan, blue silver grass alone would obviously not be enough. Then the clear sky hammer would inevitably appear, which would be interesting. Then Feng Xiaoshan didn't take Tang Sun very seriously, and even because Tang Sun and Huo Wu had no relationship, he didn't even pay attention to this little blue silver grass spirit master. So what about the Soul Sect? With the fragility of the blue silver grass, there was no way it could block the blow of his wind blade. At first, Feng Xiaoshan didn't plan to use a Swift Wind Demonic Wolf's 36 consecutive slashes, but as soon as the match started, he knew he was wrong. Tang Sun's blue silver grass was indeed not that good, and its ability to restrict him was only average. But Tang Sun possesses several very powerful martial arts, including the weird footwork of ghostly shadows, the exquisite force relieving method of controlling a crane to capture a dragon, and the terrifying purple demon pupil. When these are combined, it actually makes his several attacks were unsuccessful. Very. But I underestimated you. In that case, let's take the move. The wind demon wolf cuts 36 times in a row. Feng Xiaoshan no longer hesitated, and quickly executed the first cut. Tang Sun used his Zuan Jade hand to confront Feng Xiaoshan's slashes head on. However, his Zuan Jade hand might be able to block the first and second slashes. But what about after that? The Wind Demon Wolf's 36 consecutive slashes become more powerful the further they go, and that is the key to victory or defeat. Chapter 173 The appearance of the Haotian Hammer, the acting son-in-law and the frightened Salus. After dealing with Guran last time, the Gale Demon Wolf reappeared with 36 consecutive slashes at that time. Feng Zai Ocean's 36th slash was impressive point. Although this move did not leave any scars on Guran at first, no one thought this move was weak. After all, Guran is the Soul King, and the direct disciple of Gurong, the number one defender in the mainland. He also has a defensive torso soul. Bones. It is normal to have such defense power, and Tang San definitely didn't have such a defense as Guran. Once Feng Zai Ocean accumulated 36 cuts, he would definitely be defeated. Take the move. Amidst the roar, Feng Zai Ocean moved, and his body fell from the sky like a meteor chasing the moon. The huge body with its wings spread out made no sound as it fell, and the diffuse green light was all restrained. At this time, his body and wings formed a perfect angle point compared to last time. His 36 consecutive slashes were even more perfect point. Tang San's blue-silver grass rose into the sky, turned into countless vines, and directly wrapped around Feng Zai Ocean, who descended from the sky point. But not only did he not awaken for the second time, he also lost the fairy grass and the blue-silver grass that had lost the bonus of the 10,000 year soul ring. It was too fragile and could be cut off by Feng Zai Ocean point. The 5th chop, the 6th chop. This attack power can no longer be blocked by Zuanai hand. Am I going to lose? Tang San was extremely unwilling, but his blue-silver grass, let alone restraining Feng Zai Ocean, would be struck by his wind blade before he even got close. Cut off point. Tang San couldn't help but complain about the uselessness of blue-silver grass. The name of wasted martial spirit was worthy of its name. Moreover, even the Tang Sect's special skills could not stop Feng Zai Ocean at this time. According to the rules of the competition, he could not use hidden weapons. He was completely helpless. No, I'm not defeated yet. Tang San suddenly remembered the thing that had been hidden among all his cheats for a long time. Point in the gap between Feng Zai Ocean's 6th and 7th slashes, black light surged from Tang San's right hand, and an inconspicuous hammer appeared in his grasp. At the same time, there was a sudden explosion under Tang San's feet, and centered on his legs, that sank into the ground. A large pit suddenly burst out of the entire ground. Point half turning his body, Tang San held the hammer with both hands, exerting force from his calves, half rotating his whole body, and lifted up the small black hammer that was only a foot long in his hands from below, directly facing Feng Zai Ocean's 7th slash. Point boom. Feng Zai Ocean's body was knocked out, and even his gale wings were hit with cracks. The severe pain had already made Feng Zai Ocean's face turn red. Is this hammer a weapon? Feng Zai Ocean looked at the Hei Ocean hammer in Tang San's hand in confusion. Point you must know the rules of the competition. The use of props other than martial spirits and soul bones is not allowed in the competition. If you use them, it will be a foul, and you will be disqualified from the competition. Point. But what puzzled him was that the referee did not announce the verdict, but stood there motionless, as if he was dumbfounded. This is Yu Xianheng, who was still a little weak, suddenly took off the towel on his body and stood up. Hei Ocean hammer. By the way, Tang San's surname is Tang. Is it possible that he is a member of the Hei Ocean sect, successor in the stands? All the soul masters with a little knowledge all sighed the same as Yu Xianheng. Point the existence of the tip of the pyramid in the weapon spirit represents the strongest attack and power. The most powerful weapon spirit in the world is a clear sky hammer. What is even more unbelievable is that this most powerful weapon spirit is actually a twin weapon. The form of soul exists in Tang San, Hei Ocean sect, clear sky hammer, twin martial spirits. Salus muttered to himself in disbelief, each of these 3 words stimulating his soul point. Although Tang San didn't say it clearly, the ability he was using at this time was clearly one of the Hei Ocean sect's inherited soul skills, the Chaos Cloak Hammer technique. Tang San is actually a twin martial spirit. How is this possible? He actually still has such potential. Tianlin's tone was no longer calm as before, and he spoke tremblingly. Point seeing that even Sword Lord showed this expression, everyone could understand. After all, it was the clear sky hammer, and it was the clear sky hammer that existed as the second martial spirit. This meant that once Tang San was banned in the future, it was very likely that the emergence of a Hei Ocean Douluo with a 10,000 year soul ring means that it is the pinnacle of power in the entire continent. Point the Sword Lord has been arrogant to his peers for a long time. Even the golden generation of Wuhan Palace is far inferior to him. But today, a young man with far greater potential than him suddenly appeared. It must have been a big blow to him. Yu Xianheng stepped forward and patted Xianlin on the shoulder. He said nothing, but his eyes were full of encouragement and comfort. Among the people, only Guran looked at his boss with admiration. The ferocious face expressed Xianlin's jealousy towards his twin martial souls, and the trembling arms showed his unwillingness and fear that he would be surpassed by others. Boss, you are indeed my idol. I, Guran, not only want to learn from your talent in cultivation, but also your superb acting skills. Guran shouted excitedly in his heart. Others didn't know clearly, but he knew that Xianlin also has twin martial spirits, and his two martial spirits are much more terrifying than the clear sky hammer. Would he be afraid of a mere Tang-san? In the stands, Guran's master Guran was in the same situation, because his sect master Ning Fengzi was also doing the same thing as his son-in-law Xianlin, except for His Majesty the Pope of Wuhan Palace. I have never seen or even heard of a second twin Wuhan owner. I thought that Zhang Xianlin, was already a rare genius in 100 years, but I didn't expect that there is still Tang-san with greater potential hidden in Lake Academy. But I don't know whose child this is. The Haoshan sect has been closed for many years. Are there still Haoshan sect disciples wandering around in this world? Ning Fengzi said in a heavy tone. At this time, his hand holding the scepter was trembling, and anyone could feel how uneasy he felt. Since Bibi Dong has fully grown up, the secret of her twin martial souls is no longer so deliberately hidden. Although it is not known to everyone, these upper class people still know some, so through her, you can roughly understand how terrifying the fully grown twin martial souls are. The best configuration of soul rings that are more than 10,000 years old represents a strength that far exceeds that of ordinary titled Douluo. Hey, Xiaoshan, you and your sect leader have a grudge against this Tang-san. You know, the more you show fear towards him now, the more dangerous he will be. Qian Mengbinken said in confusion. It's not that I have any grudges. Tang-san exposed the clear sky hammer on his own, and I didn't design it. However, if I act too calmly when seeing the twin martial spirits, it will arouse suspicion, envy, and jealousy. Even fear is how normal people should behave. Xianlin argued. Ning Fengzi obviously had the same idea as Xianlin. Because of his performance, everyone felt pity for Ning Fengzi. The Qibao Glazed sect has indeed developed very fast in recent years. In addition, Zhang Xianlin has emerged as a new force, and is invincible among his peers. It will soon surpass the Haoshan sect and become the truly largest sect in the world. But he didn't expect that the Haoshan sect actually hid a twin martial spirit. As long as Tang-san grew up, his ideals would be shattered again. Sect master, as expected of my sect master, how did you manage to be so calm and open your eyes and tell lies? Gurang and Guran are worthy of being masters and disciples, and they have exactly the same reaction in their hearts. You must know that he is now afraid of revealing his secrets, and he can't even say a word. He didn't dare to say anything, but when Ning Fengzi started lying, he didn't even blink. Even when Ning Fengzi said the word outside, he slightly emphasized his tone, which made Salus immediately alert. The Haoshan sect has sealed the mountain and cannot leave. There is only one person outside now. Is this Tang-san? Yes, he couldn't sit still, and even forgot to say goodbye to Emperor Zuyi. He went straight back to Wuhan Temple, and then immediately asked people to check Tang-san's files. As long as Tang-san was awakened by the Wuhan Temple, they would definitely be able to check it. Sure enough, someone soon sent the information. Tang-san, a member of the Holy Soul Village, currently studying at Shrek Academy, graduated from Notting Junior Soul Master Academy, awakened person. Suyun Teo, living family, father, Tang Heo. Saw the last two words. At that moment, Salus's eyes widened completely, and there was a hint of fear in his pupils. This Tang-san is actually Tang Heo's son. Chapter 174. The end of the promotion competition and Zuking's hatred. When Salus returned to the soul fighting arena, the battle between Feng Xiaoshan and Tang-san was over. Without any surprise, Tang-san was the winner the moment the clear sky hammer appeared. The outcome was already clear. Although the Gale Winter-headed wolf was an advanced martial spirit that was extremely close to the top level, it was still far behind compared to the Clear Sky Hammer. The Gale Wind Demon Wolf's 36 consecutive kills were also far inferior to the random Cloak Hammer method point. After all, one side can only charge 36 times, while the other side has a full 99 and 81 hammers. Even if Tangsun still can't swing the final hammer of Jiu, it is definitely not what Feng Xiaoshan can do with standpoint, but Ceres couldn't care about trivial matters such as winning or losing the game. He only had one thought right now: this Tangsun must not be allowed to stay. No one knows the potential of twin martial souls better than the Wuhan Palace. After all, their Pope is a peerless powerhouse with twin martial souls. Although the Sword Lord of the Seven Treasures Glazed Sect is currently in the lead, even if he becomes a titled Douluo in the future, in his mind he will at most grow to the level of Chenzin, which may be stronger. Although it is enough to make them fearful, he is not really against them. The Wuhan Palace poses an excessive threat point, but Tangsun is different. If he can overcome the difficulty of having twin martial spirits, he may be able to grow to the level of their Pope. In addition, the Tang Heo family's deep hatred for the Spirit Palace will definitely be a major obstacle to their Spirit Palace. Strong enemy. It seems that Jun Xianlin's matter needs to be put aside for now, and we should deal with Tangsun first. Salus acted quickly, and had already sent a message to Wuhan City Point after Feng Xiaoshan's defeat. Shenfeng Academy chose to admit defeat directly. The Cloak Hammer technique was too powerful, and they didn't want to get injured before the finals. Anyway, the promotion round was only for ranking, so losing a game would not have a big impact point at this point. The promotion matches are all over, and all the major colleges have stood up according to the new rankings. The one at the front is naturally the Imperial fighter team. Originally, they should be the ones who attract the most attention, but now almost everyone can't help but look at them. Turning towards Tangsun Point, descendants of Haoshan, twin martial spirits, these are much more exciting than a competition point. After that, Emperor Zuyi gave another impassioned encouragement. As an emperor, of course he couldn't leave Xiandao City easily, so he definitely wouldn't be able to watch the subsequent finals. Therefore, Prince Zuking became the representative of the Xiandao Empire and participated in the judging work of this competition. He accompanied 15 teams from the Xiandao side to Wuhan City at the junction of the two empires for the finals. The organizing committee gave each team 3 days to adjust. After the explanation, they dispersed. Tianlin glanced at Salus, who had a gloomy expression. This guy would definitely report Tangsun's matter to Wuhan City. Bar as a result, I'm afraid that the attack and killing in the original work will still occur, but without Qibao and Sword Douluo, Tangsun may not be able to escape this disaster. Originally, Tangsun would have died if he died, but now he is still valuable to Tianlin, and Tianlin still has some backing up on this guy. It would be a pity if he died so easily. Moreover, since Tangsun has appeared in the vision of predicting the future, it means that he will not die this time. Could it be that Tang Heo will save him in advance? Forget it. Let's take it one step at a time. Tianlin thought to himself. In fact, he still had an idea in his mind whether Wuhan Palace would also take action against him. He was not afraid. For this trip to Wuhan Palace, Ning Fengzi had decided to take Chenzin and Qibao with him. Gurong stayed behind to stay with the sect. As for Yin Yang, it seemed that he had just been sent by Ning Fengzi to do other things with the two great Douluo sword and poison around. Tianlin was not worried about his own safety. Moreover, now, if he is at full strength, he is already confident that he can challenge a titled Douluo who has just passed level 90. The confidence is the millions-year-old soul ring skill of the Holy Spirit Pearl. The skill of summoning gods, the god of war. The strength of this martial god is determined based on the strength of Tianlin. It is about one stage stronger than Tianlin. In other words, it is now equivalent to Tianlin, who is close to the Soul Saint level. The Soul Saint level Tianlin can definitely kill Sword Douluo if it is supplemented by the mental interference field, the Holy Spirit field, the Phantom Water and Thunder, and the Feng Shu transformation formation. It will not be afraid of facing the titled Douluo. Thinking of this, Tianlin felt relieved, and at the same time, felt grateful to Xian Mengai's silkworm, all thanks to the soul ring it provided. Xiaoshan, what's wrong with you? Are you thinking about Tangsun? At this time, Zuking walked over with a smile. He thought Tianlin was stimulated by Tang San, so he was in a bad mood. Tianlin did not deny it and went with the flow. Yes, I really didn't expect that he would be the third twin martial soul in the history of the mainland. It seems that it is only a matter of time before he surpasses me. Zhu King patted Tianlin on the shoulder. Ziocean, don't belittle yourself. That Tang San can't surpass you, and I won't let him surpass you. In Zhu King's heart, Tianlin's magic sword is also a god level martial spirit. No matter how strong the Haotian hammer is, it is only among the top, so she still thinks that Tianlin is the best. Besides, Tang San might not be able to grow up, but as soon as she saw the clear sky hammer, her murderous intent almost boiled over from the information she knew. Her father died after being seriously injured by the clear sky hammer. To her, the Clear Sky Sect was an unyielding enemy. Tianlin's 5 senses are so sharp, no matter how well Zhu King's murderous intention was hidden, he was still caught by him. He said with a smile, "Brother Zhu, don't worry, I don't think I will lose to him. Even if the number of martial arts spirits is higher than I'm not as good as him, but as long as my level is always higher than his, I won't be surpassed by him. Don't forget, we have the power of Xiangsu." Looking at Tianlin's smile, Zhu King's murderous intent disappeared in an instant. "You're right, Ziocean. Okay, you go back and have a good rest first, and then go to Wuhan City with Brother Zhu in 3 days. This time, I can cheer you on. Thank you, Brother Zhu. I'll take my leave then." Tianlin said goodbye to Zhu King and left. As the prince, Zhu King still had many things to prepare. He couldn't accompany Tianlin in these 3 days. Wait a minute, Brother Jun. As soon as Tianlin walked out of the spirit fighting arena, someone suddenly stopped Tianlin. "Brother Xiangxin, what's the matter with you?" The person who came was none other than Yu Xiangxin. Although he lost to Xianheng, his condition was actually better than Xianheng. After all, it was just a skin injury. But Xianheng, because of the side effects of Dragon's reverse scale, went back to rest without even attending the final closing ceremony of the promotion tournament. Help me give Xianheng a message. In today's battle, I'm convinced that I have lost. I'm willing to give up the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex's position as the next head of the family and assist him wholeheartedly from now on, Yu Xian said in his heart. In fact, this was his early decision. He made an appointment with Xianheng to decide the outcome of the Soul Master competition in one battle, lest their brothers become like the Xingluo Day family, fighting for life and death. Xianlin nodded. Okay, I remember it. In fact, Xianheng also has something to convey to you. The position of the next deputy chief of the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family is waiting for you. Hearing this, a rare smile appeared on Yu Xiangxin's serious face. Haha, Brother Jun, please be careful. From now on, Brother Xianheng and I will be as powerful as others. Maybe one day our family will surpass your 7 treasures glazed sect. That's impossible, because you are 2 people, and there are at least 3 people on my side. The faces of Guran and Rangrang appeared in Xianlin's mind. The supporters around him are no weaker than Yu Xianheng and Yu Xiangxin. How could he lose to them? Chapter 175 Wuhan Palace is planning Feng's his response. In the Wuhan Palace, Hu Lina walked into the Pope Palace with a piece of information in her hand. Bibi Dong was not here at this time. She did not do everything herself. Some things were left to the 2 titled Douluo, Elder Ghost, Elder Jew. The teacher has an order for you too. She said that she doesn't want to see this person in Wuhan City. Hulina pointed her slender finger at a name on the entry list, which was Tang 3. Salus's report clearly stated that he was a twin martial soul and the son of Haotian Douluo. With such an identity, there was no way that the spirit hall could let him go. I understand, but this time, Ning Rangrang and Jun Xianlin from the 7 treasure glazed tile sect are also among the people coming to the spirit hall. They must be guarded by titled Douluo, which is not easy to deal with. Yu Guan said worriedly. His current strength is not what it used to be. In the past few years, although Du Gubo's poison has been eliminated to the 9th level, it is not so easy to receive the snow-colored swan kiss. The sequelae are very serious. His level has dropped significantly. At level 1, his strength is far from what it used to be. Elder Ju, the teacher understands your concerns. The people escorting the contestants this time are none other than Prince Xiandao and Ning Fengzi. In that case, it would indeed be unjustifiable for the Qibao Glazed Sect not to take action. But our goal this time is not Jun Xianlin and Ning Rangrong, the 7 treasures glazed tile sect. Don't even think about fighting with us over Tang San. So as long as someone entangles them, that's fine. Who? Lina's idea was very simple, that is, to fake a fight. Just send people to entangle the title Douluo of the Qibao Glazed Sect, and then the others would kill Tang San with all their strength point. But if they want to capture the title level combat power, then the one they have to send must be a title Douluo point at this moment. 5 majestic figures walked in from outside the main hall. Seeing these people, Yugwen was completely relieved, because these 5 people were all title Douluo point. Although there are only 3 title Douluo in Wuhan Palace to the outside world. In fact, in addition to the Pope, they also have 7 major ministers and 9 major elders, all of whom are titled level combatants. The 7 major enshrinements are extremely mysterious, and even Ning Fengzi has very little information about them. But the 9 elders still know a little bit about the real upper level forces from top to bottom. They are level 95 Ghost Douluo, original level 95 Chrysanthemum Douluo, level 94 Turtle Douluo, level 93 Mad Lion Douluo, level 93 Flame Eagle Douluo, level 93 Ghost Leopard Douluo, level 93 Demon Douluo Bear Douluo, level 92 Porpoise Douluo and level 92 Snake Spear Douluo point. In the future, there will be another leader of the Holy Dragon Sect, a level 91 Holy Dragon Douluo point, except for the Agautian Snake Spear who had been protecting Kan Ringsu. All the other 7 people gathered here point. The honest looking Turtle Douluo and the wild looking Crazy Lion Douluo stood up. Yugwen, Ghost, we will go with you this time. It will be fine if the 7 treasures glazed sect doesn't take action. If we do, we will stop them. Okay, with 2 people joining us, this operation will be sure of success. Yugwen said with satisfaction. Although his strength has been greatly reduced, as long as he has the title level combat power and can deal with a group of brats, he is still completely fine. 3 days later, under the protection of many royal knights, 15 academies marched towards Wuhan City. The road was smooth and uneventful, and 11 days passed peacefully. In the royal Dao team's carriage, Tianlin closed his eyes to rest. In fact, he was using his extremely powerful mental power to detect the surroundings. I didn't sense Tang Heo. He still didn't show up. How can I be so relieved that I have been exposed? Is my son going to Wuhan City, or is he too confident in my 7 treasures, Glazed Sect and the Royal Knights? It's Xiaoshan's mental power again. This is the 3rd time in the past few days. On another Qibao Glazed Sect's carriage, Chen Xin immediately caught Xianlin's detection and informed Ning Fengzi and Du Gubo. Even though Xianlin's control over his own perception ability is now very subtle, and even the 96th level Guran can't catch it, he still can't avoid the 98th level Chen Xin. Uncle Jian, there is no need to make a fuss. I know what Xiaoshan is sensing. Ning Fengzi smiled slightly. It seems that Xiaoshan has also guessed the relationship between Tang San and Haoshan Douluo, and he is very crisis aware. Although the past 11 days were calm, if I hadn't guessed, the vanguard would have reached the Grand Canyon. That's the best place for an ambush. Ambush? You mean Wuhan Palace might attack us here? Du Gubo immediately became alert after hearing this. Ning Fengzi shook his head. It's not us, it's Tang San. But since we are here, it won't make sense if we don't take action when the time comes. Uncle Jian, Uncle Debu, if we do it later, you don't have to use all your strength. Uncle Jian will just reach the 96th level of strength. Uncle Debu, don't use Snow Swan Kiss either. Tang San is not worthy of our sect and Wuhan Palace falling out directly. Besides, entangling several title Douluo in the other party is not worth it. No one can say anything about us. Ning Fengzi and Bibi Dong thought together. As long as Wuhan Palace didn't take action against Tianlin and Rangrong, they would just have to work hard. After all, the current Tang San was far less important to them than the original work, let alone the kindness given to Ning Rangrong Kilo Tulip. But Feng Zhi, if this happens, Tang San will definitely die. That guy Tang Heo is going crazy, but he doesn't care about anything. Chen Xin worriedly said. He knew Tang Heo very well. Even if this matter had nothing to do with the 7 treasures glazed sect, he would definitely express his anger. They don't try their best point. Although Shenzhen is not afraid of Tang Heo at all, as the saying goes, those who are barefoot are not afraid of those who wear shoes. Tang Heo is now alone. If he wants to take revenge on the 7 treasures glazed sect, Shenzhen really cannot guard against him for the rest of his life. Don't worry, Tangsen won't die. Ning Fengzi smiled slightly. Even if Tang Heo doesn't come, someone will still come to save him. A few days ago, I wrote a letter to a friend and made an appointment with him today. Meet at the canyon ahead. I think he should arrive here today. At this time, the leading troops walked into the mountains and were between 2 low hills. Suddenly, a cold breath came from the mountains on both sides of the road. The people present were all soul masters, facing the danger. His perception was extremely sharp, and his hair stood on end instantly. The captain of the Royal Knights shouted, "Everyone is on alert. There is a situation." The members of the Royal Knights guarding the Soul Masters immediately raised the Knight's spear in their hands. But the participating team members from the Soul Master Academy looked relaxed and content. There are so many talented Soul Masters here. What do they need to worry about? Although in terms of number, these students are much smaller than the Royal Knights. But let's really fight. The strength is not proportional at all. What's more, there are many strong teachers among the teachers in each academy, and there are at least a dozen Soul Masters at the 6th or 7th level. Such a team is enough to face a large army of more than 10,000 people. But they haven't realized what kind of opponent they are about to face. The original work of the 9 elders has not been fully disclosed. Most of the works here are taken from Baidu Encyclopedia and the animation version. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.